Okay, I think I am streaming. Just want to make sure. Doing the audio check. Um, Let me see. I can see myself being streamed, so that's good. Okay, I can hear my audio. That's good too. Okay, I can hear my audio. That's good too. All right. Oh my god. So I didn't really get free Wi-Fi at the hotel. I mean, I could have gone to the lobby, but I got gift subs to people while I was away. Anyway, okay. Make sure that I saved. Okay, good. I did save. I am just chatting. All right, not doing any sleight of hand today. I'm super tired, but I was like, let me get all of this out of my head because I would like to. I'm also not feeling that great. I don't know if you can tell in my voice. It doesn't sound like it normally does. So, I guess subject to change however long I want to go. But I want to try and recap the entire weekend that I went to MagiFest 2025. Slightly, Stefan. Bro, I didn't see you at the convention. I was there. You were there? I would have shot the shoot. Yo, Slightly, Stefan. Why didn't you, send me a message or something? So, Uh, will you be there next year? I am. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as it gets closer. But I will. I'm gonna recap my experience at MagiFest. Damn, slightly, Stefan. Come on. All right, yeah. Next time, I might have. I don't know. Were you mingling about? I didn't know you were there. I was okay. I probably saw you, and I was just like, yeah. I did announce here and on my two YouTube videos that released the last couple of weeks that I was going, but I guess I anyway. Um, well, shucks. Sorry, man. All right. Well, I could have met slightly Stefan in person. All right. I probably walked past you so many times. Anyway, so yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing any magic tonight, but I want to talk about my experience at MagiFest 2025. Also, um, not to if anybody is here because it looked like they thought it said MagFest in the title. This is actually MagiFest, but MagFest happened the same weekend. I did not go to that. Chan the Magic Man. Hello, welcome. Yeah, Chan, I'm not going to be doing a sleight of hand magic tonight, so I'm just going to recap the convention. And so here we go. First things first, let's show everybody the first couple of days worth of schedule. And so here's a screenshot, or not a screenshot. I took a photo of the schedule, mostly so I could do this. But let's see. I can zoom in, right. All right. So on Thursday. So first things first, I woke up early Thursday because I wanted to see my kid before E-Room, hello, welcome in. How's it going? Mike 2600, welcome in. How's it going? Uh, you're here for the recap. Awesome. I'm here for giving the recap. Welcome in E-Room and Chan and Mike 2600. Oh yeah, guys, let's shout everybody out. Guys, if you're not following our friend E-Room, please give E-Room a follow. E-Room, also known as the Pope of Indiana, also does a bunch of variety things like in real life streams, community games, opening things like Kinder Eggs. So definitely give eRoom a follow. Guys, you're not following our friend Mike 2600. Mike 2600, another fellow magician. I was actually messaging Mike while I was at the convention. I did pick up some stuff for Mike, which I'll show off later. Um, and then let's see here. Guys, you're not following our friend Durkee Blaine. Durkee Blaine is also a magician. Um, does do video game streams, but has been trying to do some more magic publicly. So definitely support our friend Durkee Blaine. And then, guys, if you're not following our friend and mod Chan the Magic Man, please give Chan the Magic Man a follow. Chan the Magic Man is a fellow magician, also streams magic usually on Magic Mondays, and but it does variety of different streams as well. Plays retro games, community games. Has been playing Grand Theft Auto 5, so hope you've been enjoying that. And then let's see here. And Slightly Stefan, do you stream? I don't remember, but I know Slightly Stefan is actually a magician. Also, is apparently at MagiFest. We missed each other because we didn't know each other were going, but Slightly Stefan does have a social media presence. I've seen Slightly Stefan's YouTube stuff and Instagram stuff. So if you're interested in Slightly Stefan, is it just me or does your voice sound deeper? Oh no, you're correct. My voice, I'm actually kind of sick right now. I don't know if it's because I lost my voice while talking too much, or if I'm not feeling good because I potentially contracted some disease from the convention. But that's not just you. That is actually the situation right now. So, all right. So that's, I think, did we cover everybody in chat right now? I think we did, right? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So, first things first, Thursday, I woke up early so I could see my kid before she went to school so then I could drive to the convention on Thursday. First thing started at 5 p.m. Registration didn't start until 4 p.m. I basically woke up, saw my kid, packed the car. I felt like I wanted to take a little bit of a nap before I left, but I tried to take a nap and I couldn't anyway, so I just left. Um, Barney of the Rubble, welcome in. Elstroart, hello, welcome in. Guys, you're not following our. Wait. Elstroart, you stream, right? Just double checking Elstroart. Art Enjoyer. Oh, okay, alright. Guys, you're not following our friend Elstroart. Feel free to give Elstroart just in case Elstroart one day decides to stream. Not really at all. Okay. But I decided, so originally there was going to be threatening snowstorms on Thursday, and I might have, because I have to go through Buffalo. And for those of you who don't know Buffalo, New York, New York is notorious for having like insane amounts of snowfall at random times. And so I didn't want to risk like, so I was like, okay, let me just drive past Buffalo. And so I ended up driving out. I looked at the weather, and apparently all the snow got pushed back until about 4 p.m. And so I decided to stop at in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is a little bit past Buffalo, but before I hit Ohio. So this convention was happening in Columbus, Ohio. So welcome in Charlie's Beats and GipsonLens. How's it going? Guys, you're not following our friend Charlie's Beats. One day Charlie may stream again, but otherwise Charlie is a music Twitch famous chatter. And then also, if you're not following our friend and mod GipsonLens, please give GipsonLens a follow. Pianist, working on completing his first album. So anyway, yeah, nobody be confused. This is not MagFest. It's definitely MagiFest. It's a different convention. But anyway, so first things first. My wife and I had our honeymoon in the Erie, Pennsylvania area, and we hit up a ton of wineries. I thought it would be a great surprise to stop by the winery and well, one of the many wineries that we stopped at. Well, as it turns out, I stopped by one of them, and I got a wine tasting, and I showed the woman who was giving me a tasting some magic, and she gave me, I think, my tasting for free because we have to normally pay for our tastings. I don't know if she gave it for free because I was a magician or because I paid for some bottles. I don't know. But in either case, as it turns out, after I showed her some magic, a couple walked in. It looks like she's had a few bottles. It was kind of early. I think it was like 1 or something. But another couple walked in afterwards. I showed them some magic as well. And this was a very strange story because they were walking in to get some money from, because I guess they were working with that winery, but then they said, "Oh yeah, normally because they don't have cash payments, they just take they just take payment in wine." So they anyway, I don't know how that works, but it was super funny. Um, but anyway, I showed them magic tricks as well, and they all had a great time. And I was like, "Well, I'm glad I stopped by." And I got some bottles of wine for my wife to surprise her when I got home. So, um, okay, and then that was, let's hop back to the schedule. All right, so that was even before I made it there. I did kill some time, and then I had lunch at a place. Maybe wine is immune to the effects of inflation. I mean, if it's good wine that ages, then yes, it could be. That could be the case. So after that, I decided to stop for a lunch at a very tiny diner. Hold on, I put all the food in a separate folder. So the diner I stopped at was called, I think it was like, it was weird because I was in Pennsylvania, but it was called like New York Diner. All right, hold on. I have to hop over here just so I can refresh this source over here so then I can swap it. Because, yeah, okay. So here is what I had. It was basically a Philly cheesesteak in a Kaiser roll sandwich. Um, I mean, so first things first, it is not like the most delectable thing ever in the world. Consider if you guys have seen my Instagram, like you know what kind of food I eat. But I was really hungry, and it's like a very small, tiny diner. Like it's basically one row of seats that are basically against the counter, and then one row of small booths up against the wall. And so it just looks like your stereotypical tiny community diner. But yeah, service was awesome. Food was really good. So yeah, burger looks fine, but those tater tots look kind of bad. Okay, full disclosure, these tater tots really crunchy. So if you like really crunchy tater tots, this is like your thing. If you like them a little bit soft still, like on the outside, that was not it. Anyway, perfectly fine. I was starving and it hit the spot. Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So I was still on the road, but then I drove for another couple hours. The snow started to fall, and because I had woken up early and didn't take a nap, I was feeling like, oh crap, I don't know if I can make it. So just for safety, I pulled off and I at an appropriate rest stop and I took a nap. It was only about 20 minutes or something, but it was enough. I re-energized me and got me to the venue, and then I was able to. So unfortunately, I could not make the first couple of events. So I missed Base Camp Welcome, and then I also missed the Physician Magician show. So if I had like once I made it there, it was probably about 6:40, 6:45. Then I checked into my room. So by the time I was ready to like go do stuff at the convention, it was like basically 7. So how long was your total drive time? Drive time between where I was and Columbus, Ohio was like 5 hours and 45 minutes. So almost 6 hours. I mean, if you include the extra time where I like stopped and ate and went to the winery and took a nap, it's probably like 8 hours. So, but yeah. So I did catch the David Kaplan show. So he is known as the Great Kaplan. Now, I have a notebook here that I basically took a ton of notes on. So let me tell you about the Great Kaplan. So, Great Kaplan, he is a like a comedy magician with a lot of like gags, fun music. Think of like old timey like performances where it would be like slapstick. So there were a bunch of gags where it was like a wraparound stage. Like he would throw a hat off of like the left side of the stage. It would come out from the right side of the stage and hit him in the back of the head. That kind of thing. And then just a bunch of tricks that he did that I noted. Um, he pulled a bowling ball out from an empty paper bag. There was a bunch of hat like tricks, not so much magic, but like hat manipulation and hat like getting a hat from his foot onto his head. There was a flower that was on his shirt gag where it would just light up on fire. Um, he There was a bunch of jokes where he was telling stories about his life, where he learned how to play a balloon. I won't justify this, but like basically he wanted to play an instrument. The instrument was too expensive. His parents said no. I don't know how true this is, whether it's true or just part of the story. But so instead, his parents were like, "You learn how to play this balloon. Like you blow up the balloon, and then you know how like when you pinch the ends and let the air out. That's kind of like um, That's kind of like what he was doing. So playing the balloon. And then he would graduate one day to a turkey baster. So by a turkey baster, like playing as an instrument, you fill it up with liquid, and then when you squeeze and unsqueeze, the liquid moves up and down. He would blow across the top of it like a bottle and just change the pitch. It was so funny. Um, there was a torn and restored newspaper. There was a juggling gag where he pulled somebody from the audience to juggle gigantic bean bags. Um, then he did like juggling ping pong balls from his mouth. Um, actually, that's really cool. And then let's see what else. Okay, so he gets a volunteer for $20, and he does a ripped. He rips the bill, and then it's a trick called like ripped bill to impossible location. Um, let's see what else. There was a bunch of gags where he was holding the bowling ball again, but it actually turned out to be a balloon and it floated up to the there was a lot of comedy, there was a lot of laughter during this one. Um, let's see. Then at some point he was juggling a plunger, balancing a bowling ball on the plunger on his chin, and then juggling pins all at the same time. And then he did a really tall plunger, so like he put the plunger on like an 8 foot pole, and so he had like this 10 foot plunger on his chin. Um, yeah, and so that was the Great Kaplan. So that was really fun. So I did that for the entirety of the David Kaplan show. And then I was able to. Oh yeah, yeah. So actually, before I hit this up, I did get a chance to go into the dealer's room. So let me hop to. Let me see here. So now I have to go. Let's see. Fun event. Yeah, I wasn't. That was just the first show. Let's see here. I know that Mike 2600 because Mike has gone to MagiFest before. So here's some of the things that caught my eye on the first day of the expo hall, which was basically I don't know, just 20 minutes walking around before I got to the Kaplan show. So here's a couple of card tricks. Oh, I did get a selfie with David Williamson. So if anybody's familiar with uh, the three card trick. I like that trick from him. Actually, if anybody saw my YouTube video where I did my New Year's Eve trick, that's based off of his three card trick. David Williamson says Mike 2600. Yep, that's right. So I got a selfie with him, and I did chat with him for a few minutes. It was pretty cool. He told me about sleight, his sleight school community. So any magicians, if you're interested, I can send you the link. Dropped phone. R. Oh, okay. I understand the R now. Yep. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, for anybody who's not into like magic, you may not know, but David Williamson, like I would say an idol for a lot of us card close-up magicians. One thing that I'll say that I've heard stories about David Williamson where like he would be doing a show, but that like a stage or parlor show, but then in between, like during the intermission and stuff, he would actually get out and do close-up magic for the audience as he's just walking around. And then when the show starts back up, he just goes back up there. And I'm like, dude, that is both dedication and I've heard other magicians talk highly of him, just like as a person, and so I really thought this was cool. I got to meet him, chat with him for a few minutes, so that was fun. Um, here's a couple of other tricks that so I didn't know anything about these. I wanted to look them up. I didn't want to commit a bunch of money all at once without knowing. I didn't have the time to investigate them with the booth then and there on Thursday. So I did get some pictures. So this is magician Eric Tate. He is also known for doing a lot of trailers on Penguin Magic because he works for Penguin Magic. Um, Mike 2600 says his Penguin live lecture is great. Partway through the show, he runs outside, grabs someone from the street to bring inside and perform for. Yeah, I'm assuming that was for David Williamson. So yeah. So you may have seen his face if you've seen Magic trailers. That's Eric Tate. I got to say hi. I got a selfie with him as well. And then also Nick Locapo as well. So also works for Penguin Magic, also does a bunch of Magic trailers. So definitely. So that was cool. That was fun. And then let me see here. Oh, and then here's some shots from the Great Kaplan. So for a lot of the shows and lectures, basically there was no recording, but there were a lot of people just like sneaking their phones up to take a picture. And I think for a lot of things, taking a picture was a lot less of a big deal than like recording. So I did get a couple of pictures. So there's the Great Kaplan, a.k.a. David Kaplan. All right, so after this, I decided to head out for dinner. And so I went to, let me pull up, let me see. Okay, so here after the Kaplan show, I wanted to make the David Parr show and lecture. So I basically had a half an hour to find out where to get food and eat it because I was hungry. And so after this, I ended up going to a place called Poke Bunny. And actually, Mike 2600, you already saw this picture because I sent him a picture of where I was going. But let me jump over to. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So Poke Bunny is this restaurant that is literally across the street from the hotel, and they have a bunch of Asian food, but they're known for poke bowls. Which, by the way, I was telling some friends that I was going here, and I was looking forward to going back to this place that had poke bowls, and somebody was like, "What? Poke bowls? Like like bowls of chopped up Pokemon?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. It has nothing to do with Pokemon. It's like poke bowl, like Hawaiian poke bowls." But anyway, they also have noodle bowls, ramen or udon, and they also sell bubble tea. So here was my dinner on that first night, and so I got chicken teriyaki ramen, and that's what that looked like. And also, so this is just the top. So I did disturb it here just so you could see. So chicken teriyaki bok choy, that root vegetable that has that pink swirly thing, and then an egg and cilantro and corn. So yep. So that was good. So funny thing, while I was sitting here, I isn't that a fish cake? That's a fish ball slice. Okay, all right. I thought it was part of a. I thought it was a vegetable, not a root vegetable. I thought it was a vegetable. All right, okay. Well, we'll have to figure that out later. Um, anyway, so I was sitting here eating, and there's obviously a bunch of magicians like in line. I overhear somebody say, "Boston Magic Lab," and I was like, "What? Boston Magic Lab?" And for those of you guys who are aware of Infozar, aka Jack, he often goes to the Boston Magic Lab to hang out, perform magic. And so I look over and I'm like, did somebody say Boston Magic Lab? And lo and behold, I meet, and you guys did get a slight preview of this. I did meet. Hold on. Why isn't that showing up? Picture, show up. Please hold. Hopping over here, refreshing. Not that one. There we go. Okay. I met Felice. Yes. Mike, you know Felice? So yeah, guys, this is Felice, and she like organizes or manages, I don't know exactly, but basically Boston Magic Lab. So I was like, "Hey, uh, somebody said Boston Magic Lab," and oh, okay, Mike 2600 met her last year. I see. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's Felice, and I was like, "Do you, wait? Do you guys know Boston Magic Lab?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah. Felice runs it." I'm like, "Whoa!" Like somebody else said that. And I was like, "No way, cool." And I was like, Do you know Jack?" I used his last name too because I knew his last name. But and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know Jack." And then also apparently knows Jimmy as well. Me too. Oh, Chen. Oh, Chen, you've met. Oh yeah, Chen, you've been to the Boston Magic Lab too, right? Yeah, yeah. So yep. And so yeah, we chatted, and I told her a little bit about how I know Jack basically because of Magic Twitch. So yep. Okay, awesome. All right. So Chen has also met Felice before. All right. Okay. Cool. So I wrapped up dinner and chatted with some people in line and stuff. And then actually there was another. Let me see what comes after this. Nope. Okay. So we'll wait to hop over. Okay. So after this point, I you know what? I should probably open up these other folders in a tab so I can see which pictures are coming next. So I don't have to. All right. Please hold. Um, okay, cool. Boom, boom. Okay. All right. Okay. So after that, I now go back to the hotel where the next event, the David Parr show and lecture. And so I did miss like the first like 2 or 3 minutes of this, but it's basically like I think slight introduction, and they started to get people for a trick, and they were on stage in progress to do it. But um, Emperor Palpatine in the reflection. Wait, what? Oh, you mean in hold on. Oh, this is going to be stupid every time I change you mean in this one? Emperor Palpatine in the reflection? Is that what you're talking who you're talking about? Yeah, I'm not actually sure who that was. I may or may not have spoken with them, but anyway. Yeah, okay. First of all, good eye, and second of all, that's not even something that even crossed my mind to talk about. Well done. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, let's jump back to the schedule. All right. So David Parr show. I walked in a few minutes late. There was a mentalism turnkey effect where basically somebody would imagine turning a key and then it would actually unlock a lock for real, without actually touching a real key or a lock. There was there was a routine where David Parr would put rings around a spectator's arms while they had their eyes closed. Now, the funny thing about this was that everybody in the audience knew how it was done, but if you can imagine yourself being the person on stage with your arms like interlocked, like how you would get a ring onto their arms, it was hilarious. There was a routine called what I don't know what it was called exactly, but it was based around a story about Wild Bill Hitchcock and how he got the poker hand called Dead Man's Hand, and that was really cool. I actually bought this from David Parr after because I appreciated kind of everything that he talked about, and it was a card trick. So I'm like, all right, so there's a chance you guys will probably see this on stream at some point down the road. Um, and then he did like a ghost light, floating light trick. So if anybody's familiar with like the floating table trick, is a similar trick to that, but with a light instead. Adam, welcome in. How's it going, Adam? We are recapping my convention experience. So let's see. Right now we're at the David Parr show and lecture. And then let's see. And then the trick that I missed was something called the Q test, which is similar to another trick that is named something test, but he used cue cards instead. I won't say any more. If magicians want to know, we can talk later offline. But anyway, so his lecture happened immediately after. So how a lot of these will work is if there's a show in the lecture, the magician will maybe spend the first half hour, 40 minutes doing the show portion, and then the cut over to a lecture portion where they basically talk about instruction on how to do the trick. So they will, it's a magician convention, so lectures are basically they will tell us how they achieved the magical effect using whatever methods that they devised or they learned from. I'm not going to talk about the lecture too much, but a couple of things that I feel fine talking about is like some stuff about magic outside of like doing the methods. So like for example, David Parr had three keys to being a happy artist. So, like a happy, in this case, performance artist for Magic. But I think it kind of applies for a lot of things. And his three keys, and he did like go into detail for all of these, but the first one is find your own voice. So oftentimes when people are just first learning magic or first learning like a musical instrument, they try and play it like exactly the way they were either taught or how it's instructed like from a book or how like the music is written on sheet music or something. But oftentimes after you're familiar enough with it, like you should find your own voice, play that music in a style that is you. Do this trick in a style that is you. And so that rings out to me a lot here because you guys know I'll retheme a trick, all the nerdy geeky things. Key number two, find your people. And so the people that you need to find, not like specifically people that are like your people, but people that are either like you or enjoy and appreciate the stuff that you do. And so I guess in this case, like it's really easy for us that like stream magic on Twitch. It's like people who hang out in our chat because oftentimes I see regulars and you guys are here not necessarily because you just want to see magic, but because you like me, right? Like I oftentimes see a bunch of you guys when I'm not even doing magic and I'm just playing video games. And honestly, I don't feel like when I play video games is anything special. It's just me playing video games. Like at least when I do the magic, I feel like that's special. But anyway, Adam says I try to troll in my own voice. Absolutely right. Crazy Asian fans unite. Hey. You'll have to excuse me. My voice is like dead. I don't even know if I'm sick. I might be. But also, if anybody has been sitting around for a while and has not hydrated, feel free to hydrate. Adam says, I saw a magic show too. You ever hear of Mike Super? He was very good. I've actually never heard of Mike Super, Adam. I do not know, but that is cool. Let me note that and let me, I can look up Mike Super later. Hello, Thorn. Hey, how was the convention? Hello, Thorn. The convention was great. I had a fun time. I learned a lot of things. So, the difference between this time and other times was that I usually have other Magic friends going, but unfortunately, none of my Magic friends went. But that's okay because if anybody's seen me at a convention, it is perfectly fine. I will make lots of new friends and hang out with different people. So, that was not a big deal. Elstro Art says, I got insanely sick after TwitchCon. Lol. My sympathies, Elstro Art. Yeah, I understand getting sick. So I forgot what year it was, like 2014, 2016 or something. I was coming back from a PAX convention and I got what was known to be PAX Pox. Actually, it might have been older than that, maybe 2012. I don't remember. Yeah, guys, if you're not following our friend Halithorn actually a gigging magician in Singapore, Singaporean magician, and has streamed in the past. I don't know if you have much time to stream now, right? Because between all the gigs and being a father, which yeah, no, I totally understand. Cons are bad for sickness, said Elster Art. Absolutely true. I agree. But hey, I mean, look, if they weren't so fun, everybody wouldn't want to go. So, Hellthorn. I should have asked if there are any goodies that I could piggyback to buy. Oh, Hellthorn. The answer was yes, but I don't know what you were looking for. And then also, I don't know how practical it would have been because we would have to ship it to you. So, but yeah, I mean, I did announce that I was going to MagiFest, I think, like months ago. But anyway, so let's see, where were we? David Parr lecture. Yeah, yeah. So key number one, find your own voice. Key number two, find your people. Key number three, find your place. And he was really saying this as like, you know, go to the place where you're most comfortable performing. And in reference like magicians, it's like find the venue, right? Find the venue that's right for you. People who are close up probably don't or want to or can't perform on stage. Even those who are like close up walk around magicians might not be comfortable performing in a parlor setting, but find the place that is good for you. And for me, I mean, I've done some close up walk around for fun, so I feel like I can do that. But also, right at home here in front of my computer for Twitch, for YouTube, so that's pretty normal. The other thing that I really appreciated from David Parr was that he rethemed tricks as well. So he has a trick, which is like a wild card trick, that I do that's very similar, but he changed it, made it for Parlor, but themed it as the invasion of the body snatchers. And I'm like, whoa! First of all, sci-fi bonus points. Second of all, retheming a trick, and I'm like, oh man. So full disclosure, I didn't really know David Parr before I went to his show and lecture, but afterwards I was like, yo, I'm a fan now because, yeah. And then let's see here. There was a bunch of other magician notes that I have here, specifically just for magician stuff, but I'll just read off a few things. Max Maven, Inside Out, Omega Count, Richard Volmer, Hand of Fate, and 242 Deal. Anyway, that's Inside Baseball. If anybody cares, let me know. Let's see. Mark Rides, welcome in. How's it going? What color is your favorite flavor of balloon? Well, I would say my favorite flavor of balloon probably has to be probably has to be blue. I would say dark blue. uh, let's see. But welcome in. How's it going? How are you, Mark Rides? Let's see. Haha, I wanted to attend, but baby came with the registration opened. Oh, yeah, Halathorn, that totally makes sense. Also, you'd be traveling like around the world too. But Halathorn says right now it's orange, apparently really smooth. Ah, let's see. David Parr's copycat is the one I use often most. Oh, interesting. All right. Let me also note David Parr copycat so I can look that up later. Copycat. All right, cool. Awesome. Halathorn eats balloons on stream. Yes, I've seen Halathorn swallow several balloons. SR crazy eats a balloon. Nope, nope, no balloons here. Sorry. So full disclosure, not only does my wife not like magic, she doesn't like balloons. So, and actually, if you ever want, okay, full disclosure, I never told you this. If you ever want to scare my wife, just dress up like a clown and then just approach her. That is literally the thing that will scare my wife a lot. Okay, all right. So let's see. Where were we? All right. So after the David Parr lecture got out, I ended up hanging out with a bunch of people um, outside of. So right outside of the theater um, is basically the hangout area. Let me see. Make sure. Nope, not the food. This one. And basically in the hangout area is where I ran into a bunch of people. So here is somebody that I hadn't seen in a while, maybe last year actually, but he used to be. So this is his name is Mike. I'll just say his first name. So his name is Mike, and he used to be part of our local magic group, I guess, here a long, long time ago. I saw him a lot over Zoom during pandemic because he does live a little bit further away, so he couldn't attend. But then I hadn't seen him for like a while since like meetings were back in person. But then I ran into him here. I'm like, "Yo, Mike, what's going on?" So yeah, balloons are dangerous for babies. If it pops and the baby swallows it, and the air can make it expand just enough to cut off airflow and hard to. Yes, that is all true, Mark Rides. And then so I see why you don't have balloons in the house. Look. There's a couple of balloons in the house because daughter has gone to some birthday parties and they gave out balloons. But my wife actually hates balloons because, not because of the safety thing, but because she hates, like, she cringes at the thought of them popping and she hates that sound. And I'm just like, I know you hate that sound, but I don't want my daughter to also be afraid of that sound, you know? So, we got to have a couple balloons, A, for her to play with them, and then B, so that if it pops, she knows what it's like. So, Hellethorn says, question. At the Vanishing Ink booth, were there new books? I'm super tempted for Luke Germain's Hummingbird Rising Cards. I don't know how many books were at the Vanishing Ink booth. Usually, Vanishing Ink booth just has, from what I can tell, mostly tricks and then maybe a few books. I don't know if I saw that book there. Um, oh, and so guys, so after the David Parr lecture, I did get a selfie with David Parr. So first we had a couple of serious faces, and then and then we had smiling faces. I think I like this one the best, and then this like I usually like to take a couple just for as like backup, but like we did this, he thought it was great, and then he started laughing, so I caught him here at this point. So also a good picture, I think. Um, all right. So the David Parr Show and Lecture brings us through the end of Abby Siegel's Bar Magic, so I couldn't catch that on Thursday, but that was happening again later. The Youth Room Magic Jam. So basically, the entire weekend, the Youth Room Magic Jam, there was an entire room basically of kids under 18, so just minors, but I think there was kids as old as like 15, 16, and kids as young as like 6, and they would jam together, do magic with each other. I know that there was a message that was sent out to all the attendees. Hey, if you have any extra magic books that you would like to donate to the kids' room, basically everybody was encouraged to bring whatever magic books so that they could put there, and then they would give them out. And then also throughout the weekend, other headliners and other prominent magicians, other lecturers, and including some of the lecturers that are on the schedule for everybody, also spoke to the youth group. So they basically got their own extra special, MagiFest lectures. So that was really cool. And yeah, if you don't like foster, young magicians, you won't get many older magicians, right? Okay, so let's see. Hopping back to. Let me refresh this. Okay. I see why. So OBS is super limited because it's going to look for this window name and the name of the picture. So I have to refresh it every time. All right. Next up we have, let me see here. I wish someone fostered me when I was younger, said Hallowthorn. Yeah, my sympathy's there, Hallowthorn. I mean, I wasn't into magic back then, so I had kind of no idea what it would have been like. Um, but yeah, I think when you're young and you have the opportunities, like I think this is a chance for Vanishing Ink and Magifest to foster opportunities so that young magicians will get to know each other. So that by the time that they're big stars, it's like, hey, they got to be part of the community like their entire lives. So E-Room says, heck, I wish someone would adopt me now. Fostered by the internet, says Alstro Art. All right, so after that, there was a MagiFest After Dark 18 plus, and I don't know if you guys are aware. I like me some good, dirty humor, and I'm like, I'd also never been to this because apparently they've done this before, and I didn't know MagiFest After Dark. So I decided to go see what MagiFest After Dark was all about. Um, let's see. Turkey Blaine says, right, I was given a magic kit as an 8-year-old with instructions in horrible English. That not surprising to me, even though that might have only been your only option back then. And then Hallthorne said, is difficult in Singapore though. Resources are ridiculously limited in the time before Vanishing Ink. Yeah, I can imagine Hallthorne. Like, as far as I know, like a lot of stuff is only available in like English, Spanish, and then like everything else is just kind of like super rare or like piecemeal or incomplete. Like, so I was watching a YouTube video where a Vietnamese guy was giving a tutorial for a magic trick, and when he was trying to name sleights, he would say things like double lift and Elmsley count, with a Vietnamese accent. And I'm like, all right, well, there's no other names for those, I guess. So that's what he calls them. All right, so MagiFest After Dark. All right, so this man, okay. Okay, this picture was taken during MagiFest After Dark during one of the um, skits. I'll call them skits because basically during that hour we had like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I think 7 or 8 people hop up there and do different things. So our MC was Lindsay Noel, who is a magician, also a comedian, I think. Then there was an intro done by Zach. I think Zach was part of the Vanishing Ink staff, where he basically did a joke. Then there was a skit by Jonah Jonah Babbins and Ben Train, where they became a super magician, i.e., two people melded into one person, um, to to do a magic trick. It was hilarious though because they were both swearing at each other because one person was the head and then the other person was the arms doing the magic trick. Then there was Jason Silverman. He did like a coin to bucket routine and also trying to predict an animal that somebody thought of, um, which ended really funny because he started with a paper bag on his face. Let's see. Hellthorn says, I once had a magic set that was made in China. Everything didn't work. The instructions were in broken English with badly drawn illustrations. I mean, that's kind of how it is still now. If you get cheap magic from not an official like magic store, if you buy anything off of like was it AliExpress or something, there's a lot of magic tricks there that are like Chinese made. But anyway, um, like Svengards, it doesn't work right. Oh my god, that would be a nightmare. You might as well just use those for Tornin restores. Hellthorn. Let's see. Jerky Blaine says maybe the same set. I did a master class on making one particular gaff, and that man spoke Chinese, and the subtitles are so bad, but a fun class. Did the box turn into a podium? Uh, the box did not turn into a podium, or at least if you were talking to me. Oh no no. Okay. Oh, you're talking to each other. All right, got it. Let's see. Next up, there was a the next one was not a magician, but a social media influencer that's really a comedian, but he does jokes, meme jokes, basically on magic stuff, and it was Grady Jacobs. So Grady Jacobs made us all laugh a lot and really hard, but also maybe one of the youngest. I actually am not sure if Grady Jacobs was old enough to be actually attending this session, but he was giving us some comedy during the session. Then let's see, Kyle Littleton. Let me see. I forgot what he did. My notes are a little bit blank there. It was hilarious, I'm sure. Um, Derek Hughes. He gave us a very adult story at the beginning that ended hilarious, and then he did like a Rorschach test. And then we had Blake Punkin. He was a juggler, and he juggled tennis balls, not just the tennis balls, but also the tube. And so he would actually use the tube in at one hand and free juggle with the three balls like that. Then he would actually juggle all three balls with the tube, like four objects. He did a bunch of crazy things with tennis balls, so that was pretty cool. Um, and then yeah, and that was I think basically the end of MagiFest After Dark. So there's nothing else officially on the schedule for Thursday, but here's a shot of like everybody from MagiFest After Dark. These are kind of hard. This is probably the best shot, but not everybody is currently um, on there. Uh, okay, there we go. Is this one better? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's everybody that performed that entire segment I just talked about, MagiFest After Dark. Um, cool. And then afterwards, I hung out outside where people were just hanging and jamming. So I met Herb and Joe, I believe is his name. Herb is in the middle and Joe's on the right. So um, Herb's been doing magic all his life. I think Joe's been doing magic for about 10 years. But they were really cool. We all shared tricks. We all did tricks for each other. Um, so unfortunately, I did not record that much stuff because really everything here was about like connecting, hanging out, getting to know people. And throughout the entire weekend, I showed the one trick, red packet, black packet, to like five or six groups of card magicians, and nobody could tell me any real lineage. So I might have discovered a trick that is like just not very well known. OMG, I think I have that production tube in the background. Oh, really? This one in the back? Never mind, that's a water bottle. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So let's see. Hang out. I probably stayed up way too late that first night. Let's see. For anybody who knows Jeff, this is Jeff. I know Mike 2600 knows Jeff. Jeff's been going to MagiFest for a while. So, but yeah, he's always a character. He's very unique. And I didn't know this, but he's both a music teacher and is also, I think, teaching a student magic right now. So, um, he is also a little bit too hard on himself. He's like, "Oh man, you guys probably know so much more than I do," and I mean, he's been doing magic for a while, but like, you don't have to do like the hard, complex stuff to be a magician, right? Like, you can do just a few things if you like. He has a very unique spin on storytelling, so and he does call this out. It's like he looks like a stoner, and he tells stories like a stoner. Like he calls it out himself. This is Ryan. I did meet him the first time I went to MagiFest, but in my mind, I think of him as like Riffle Shuffle Ryan. Like that's his name to me in my mind because I know him for Riffle Shuffles. But I did see him earlier in the night. He was actually hanging out with Felice when we saw each other at Pokebunny, and so. But I got a selfie with him here because if anybody is familiar with Jimmy, aka Boyfriend from Infozar stream, I actually found out that Jimmy bought Ryan's book. So Ryan has actually put together materials where he talks about a concept called riffle shuffling. Um, and FYI, anybody who's familiar with riffle shuffling, or if you've seen anybody else like perform it, like Jason Ladani, um, Ryan's riffle shuffles are just insane. Like, so Mike 2600 says Ryan's card magic is unreal. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's crazy. Um, let's see. So, oh, and then also anybody who has hung out with me in the past probably knows Matthias. So Matthias, young magician, and he's been a gigging magician, but also has a another job as well. So he's doing both gigging magician and stuff. And then um, yeah, he and I caught up, and we reminisced about when I was there last time. He told me he actually asked me, where anybody else was, and I told him, oh, nobody else could make it. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, let's see. Crazy Asian, did you get to meet Axel Hecklau? Well, hello, Thorn. Yes, the answer is yes. I will get to that later. But yes, I did get to meet Axel. So, and then is he on YouTube? I don't know if Ryan is on YouTube. So, well, there he is. All right, thank you for that link. I'll probably have to follow him later or subscribe. Thanks for dropping that in there. Glorious. All right. Well, see, I'm doing the stream to recap. I'm learning stuff. Guys, there's 2 more days and I haven't even made it through the first night yet. I mean, we're almost on Friday, so. All right, let's see. Okay, and then here's the scheduled pictures that I have on that other one. Okay, so next thing is Friday, and because I stayed up so late jamming with people, um, I basically missed the 10 o'clock Rick Holcomb lecture. So unfortunately, whatever Rick was offering, I did not make. But I did go to. Actually, let me hop over to this one, and because I'm going to leave this on the schedule, and I will scroll this one down. Um, so Rick Holcomb has a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Oh, sweet. All right. Well, I'll have to look up Rick Holcomb as well. But I did make it to Joshua Jay's lecture on the particle system. I don't want to talk too much about it on stream, but I'll just give enough so that people are who are magicians. So, oh yeah, so I woke up in the morning. I just had breakfast in the hotel room. I brought myself an entire box of Cheerios. So I basically, if I couldn't run out to grab breakfast any day, I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna down Cheerios. So I downed Cheerios. I didn't get as good sleep, but I slept basically through the first lecture. Um, okay, so Joshua Jay's particle system. So first of all, we went to the lecture. I went to the lecture, and he performs like the trick that you can kind of see on the trailer for the particle system. Basically, he talks about time travel and how great it would be if you can do a card trick in reverse. And so the effect is basically, well, you know how most card tricks you pick a card at the beginning, the magician finds it. Well, in this trick, you the magician finds your card first, even before you pick it, and then he finds your card, but it's already after you picked it. But it's not like it's kind of weird, but it's like, and then there's also additional things that I won't go into as far as like magicians might be able to see it on the trailer if you look for it, but um, so I did learn about a bunch of things during this lecture not related to the particle system, but I learned about some deck switches. I learned about uh, a prop called the Devil's Handkerchief, which I didn't know what it was called. I knew it existed. I knew what it was. I just didn't know that that was the name. Um, I learned about a trick called the Tantalizer, which is a card trick. So I might be interested enough to go look for that later. Um, and then we talked about stack tricks, memorized stacks, and um, the particle system itself. So I don't want to go too much into the particle system because it is Joshua Jay's like. So Joshua Jay discusses how he came up with the particle system, what it is, um, and if magicians are curious, you can message me later. I'll tell you guys. But he designed the particle system to have multiple different parts, and the way that he describes bringing the particle system like philosophy and decks to doing a gig is you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. So basically, the particle system gives you like so many different ways to have outs, to predict things, to do like effectively what would be considered miracles for a bunch of different things, and it includes a bunch of practicality. The one thing about the particle system compared to mnemonica is that mnemonica looks like a randomized shuffle, and the particle system does not. Hopefully, that gives people enough without me calling out other words that might give away to lay people. So, um, yeah, and then he calls out that X-ray is a trick that he loves and he thinks is the best card trick that's come out in the last 30 years. And then we discussed it. So basically, by the end of the lecture, so you could get the so you could buy the particle system from Vanishing Ink, and it's this whole collection of stuff. I just want to get decks of cards. They were sold out. When I checked on the website earlier today, they were sold out. So it looks like the talk was popular enough that it'll probably be a while before they restock. But I'm looking forward to getting particle system packs, which is just the decks of cards for the particle system. Um, yeah. So, and that was the Joshua J particle system. Effectively, the whole thing was a lecture. So, all right, let's see here. Let me hop back to this one. Oh, I have to refresh my. We're gonna hop here, and then hopping back, and now I should be able to do this. Come on. Is that the right one? No. Oh, one of these is the correct one. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Having multiple like windows. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, so this is me waking up. This is my view out of my hotel room. Isn't it glamorous? It's not really that glamorous. It's Columbus, Ohio. So actually, some of the magicians and I we were talking and making like the kind of rude jokes about Columbus, Ohio, like skibbity toilet riz kind of Ohio jokes. So, but basically, like there's really nothing to do here, like outside of. I took a picture of this because I was like, I don't know what to do. Oh, so after the particle system lecture, I was sitting near this guy, like a few chairs away. I was taking notes, so like I was taking notes in my notebook here. He was also taking notes, and I'm like, wait a second. Oh, wait. I see the poke restaurant on the street. Yeah, over here, right? Is that it? No, that's KeyBank. All right. But so he's so he and I chatted for a little bit afterwards, and I also discovered that he was also a software engineer, and I was like, "Yo, great minds." So I was just like, "All right, let's take a picture." I did get his contact information. I forgot I forgot things. So there was a lot of stuff packed in this weekend. Um, but if I run into him, I have to know his name next time. So his name's William. All right, there we go. Good. I had him sign a card. Glorious. All right. Yeah, right there. Boom. There's William. Okay, cool. Importantly, I remembered other things about him. Okay, so back going into the expo hall at this point, I don't run into, I go to Emily Slight's booth. Uh, I assume her first name's Emily. I don't think her last name's Slights. That's just her, I don't know if it's her company name or her Instagram name. It is her Instagram name. So if anybody wants to follow Emily Slights 52, she designs decks of cards. Not just like the look and the feel, but also produces them. Actually, so I'm not going to do Magic, but I'm going to go to Magic View because I just want to show you guys the decks of cards. Unfortunately, I didn't open them yet, but I bought a ton of decks from her. So Emily Slights 52. So if anybody's interested, you can find her on Instagram. And actually, oh, not all of these decks are hers because I just stuffed the box with them. Let's see here. Okay, so I bought a total of 7 decks from her. No, I bought 6, but I spun a wheel. So if you bought like a box, you would get one for free. So I bought these two. These decks looked beautiful. So these are basically the same, except one of these is foil and one of them is not. This one's the foil one. This one is not foil one, but this is what the backs will look like. Um, and then here's a nebula one that's kind of similar, but a different color.
Just blew my mind.
Mind blown. Whoa, yeah. So I can't wait to crack these open. I haven't opened them yet. Be the Light. So this one, I actually asked her which one. So like these were beautiful and most popular, and like they looked gorgeous. And actually, she had some that were open, so I could handle them. So I was like, "Yo, I have to get these." And then I asked her, "Oh, what was super unique?" So she said this one, Be the Light, because here's the design. I believe that will be on the cards. And so a story about this, she actually had sold this design to Murphy's Magic, and then she actually purchased them back so that she could have this. And so this was like extra special to her. So I was like, all right, I've got to have this one. This one, uh, so if anybody works like in business or like working in like with other people, you might have heard um, the philosophy trust but verify. And so this is actually a deck that she designed that was like close to her. This is not the back design, but I'm just going to show you the back. Trust everybody, but cut the cards. I did say that I bought 6, but the one I got for free. This is the no wait, which is the one I got for free? I don't remember. I think I got this one for free. But the other two didn't fit in this box, so I have to pull them from over here and show you. And this is actually the reason that I completely stopped at her booth in the first place. So I bought two decks of this because I have some ideas, but they come in this sealed pouch. And it says evidence here, but in this packet, there is a deck of cards. And not only is it a deck of cards that I could use for Magic, it is also a mystery, like kind of escape room type thing. It's not really an escape room, but you're trying to solve the murder of who murdered somebody, and the story unfolds on the cards in here. And then you're supposed to use the cards to find clues and things. And basically, to this day, she says, like, I don't know how long it's been out, but to this day, she says that nobody has messaged her with like the correct solution. And so, are they USPCC printed? Let me see here. Yep, manufacture. Well, actually, no. So some of them are, and some of them are not. But the ones that are not, Emily assures me that they were made um, by a company, and they were very good and slash or very acceptable or comparable to USPCC. So yeah, these three are USPCC. These two may not be. Um, so and actually, yeah, I don't know if it's funny. This one, the non-foil one of this, was USPCC, and I think I did discuss with Emily, and she did say that these were foil, but maybe printed by somebody else, and so these do not say USPCC here. So, but yeah, so I got two copies of this. One with the intention of me trying to maybe use and solve, and then the other one, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. Maybe I'll save it for a rainy day kind of thing. But I just know I wanted this, so um, yeah. And then if you bought enough, it would come in this nice box. So I was like, yo, awesome. And then I followed her on social media. She followed me back. I still have to share photos with her, but basically, what you see when I am sharing this screen, this is what I will send or put on Instagram. She's on Instagram, so all right. Let me take a swig. Hang on. Oh, next up, I went to get late lunch, early dinner. I would say it was early dinner. Mike 2600 says, "It was Professor Plum in the kitchen with the lead pipe." And Astro Art says, "The butler did it." What did the butler do? He buttles, sir. So this was me taking a selfie. I sat at the bar of this place called Tip Top Kitchen and Cocktails, I think was the name. And I ordered what I imagined to be maybe the best version of this dish that I've ever had. Let me hop over to the food picture. So not this one. This is obviously Poke Bunny. But let me see here. Here it is. Okay. So cheers. Yeah. This. Okay. So this is a beef stroganoff. Um, and this might have been possibly the best beef stroganoff I've ever had because it's first of all, I'm pretty sure it's got to be homemade, and it looks like it's pulled pork. It's actually a oh, what is that? Pork? No, a pork. No, not a pork roast. What's the beef version of pulled pork? Anyway, not no, not fillet. Hold on, this is gonna bother me now. But I should know what it is. I literally read the menu. Oh wait, do I have a picture of the menu? No, I do not. Brisket? No, not brisket. Hold on, let me just look up the menu really quick. Entrees. Okay, here we go. Pot roast. So this is basically, yeah, hand pulled pot roast. With noodles and it was a mushroom sauce with mushrooms in it, and of course the stroganoff needs to have the sour cream because That's like a signature part of the beef stroganoff, a.k.a. chuck roast. Yeah, okay, yep, chuck roast. That's right. Go back to the pizza pick. I keep it there for a while. Okay, okay, hang on, hang on. Not yet, not yet. I'll get there. I'll get there. I had a glass of red wine with it, and then there's that little thing in the back, and the so first of all, I walked in. Bartender was super friendly. His name's Donald, and Donald got me my drink really fast. I got my order in really fast. Food came out really fast. He was a really nice guy. As I was sitting here, and the interesting thing is, like I got to sit there at the bar, and like a lot of people came in and walked out, like but it seemed like everybody who sat down at the bar, if they were not part of MagiFest, they were a regular. And I got to hear like there was somebody talking about with him about somebody else that got cancer, somebody else who got married recently, and I'm just like, wow, this place is like us. Like it almost feels like Cheers. Like it almost feels like he was the guy that everybody came to talk to. Um, and so like it just had this really nice community feel, and like I know that everybody seemed to know each other and stuff like that. So um but anyway, yeah, so this was probably my favorite meal, I think, of the weekend. um and so hopping back to this this picture. All right, hang on, there we go. Coming back to this picture, so this is me sitting at the bar, and I was like, "Hey, I'm directly in front of a mirror. Let me take a picture of this." And then, and here's me. So basically, after I was done eating, I'm like, "Hey, Donald, I know you've probably seen a bunch of magic tricks. You want to see one?" And he was like, I've seen one. I've seen a lot in the years, because MagicFest had been there for many years, but he said not as many this year. So I was like, "Hey, you want to see one?" So I showed him a magic trick, and he and one of the other regulars. Box of Cheerios in shambles, said Alstro Art. Yeah. So, yep. So that was my dinner for that night. All right. Uh, oh, maybe it wasn't dinner. Maybe it was lunch. It was like, yeah, late lunch, early dinner, something like that. Next up was the MagiFest Live. And so these next pictures. Oh, wait. Hold on. This is. Oh, do I not have pictures for. Hang on, guys. I have to. I thought I had some more pictures, or maybe I just didn't take any. That might make sense. Um, blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess I don't have too many pictures coming up. Let me just check the schedule here. Wait, is that the schedule? Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. No, no, no. Axel Hecklau show and John Carlo. Okay, so next up, I go to MagiFest Live. Oh no, so it must have been a late lunch because I went between here and here. All right, so MagiFest Live. We had a bunch of different performers and a very quick-ish lecture uh, from Abby Siegel, um, John McLaughlin. So Abby, oh yeah, so Abby Siegel is a performer, works at the Chicago Magic Lounge, and did a bunch of stuff, but mostly close-up parlor magic, from what I could see. Even though I think she does parlors as stage stuff at the lounge, but also I got to see a lot of close-up from her later, as we'll see later. So John McLaughlin is not really a magician like career-wise, but like a hobbyist, and he was part of the CIA, and his discussion during MagicFest Live was how like the military and CIA uses magic and other types of things. So they talked about things like magic being used in espionage, and like he talked about different wars. Like there was apparently a guy named Dudley Clark during one of the world wars, and he created a deception unit where like um, he created like an entire tank unit out of um, like inflatable tanks, and that like fooled, because they didn't have like infrared as easily accessible back then. So just visually seeing a tank, they're like, whoa, and tank shields, like they would actually close like these panels around a tank and from above make it look like a truck. Um, and then like tanks would leave treads, and so they created this thing that would come off of the rear, what would be the wheel, and it was like a tread eraser. It's basically like a thing of chains, and it would just erase the tread. So when it was moving around, it would look like a truck, just a slow moving truck, but it was a tank. It was like super cool. Uh, let's see, and then we also heard from Carissa Hendricks, which if anybody's familiar, her alter ego is Lucy Darling, but she discussed rapid prototyping for Nova rings. So if anybody has seen that product, by the way, I didn't know about Nova rings before this, but basically they are amazing. So imagine just holding two rings and then you close your hand and then they link. And then to unlink them, you can hold one ring and just shake it off. That is what Nova rings is. So it is amazing. But anyway, the important parts about this was that there's kind of three things that a magician can do: engineering and designing and routining. And those three things in different combinations can basically help you prototype and like work around issues and obstacles that you might have. But there was a quote from Tom Chi that she said, "Doing is the best kind of thinking." The thing that she wanted to iterate during this lecture was like taking a prototype and putting it in her show like immediately versus like waiting 2 or 3 years working out all the kinks and then discovering all that later was much slower than actually just working with it if she could get a fast prototype. So yeah. Let's see. Mike 2600 says, "What trick did you show him?" What do you mean? Which trick did I show? Which trick did I show who? Abby is awesome. Yes. Nova rings? No, no, no. Nova rings. You want to look it up, Mike 2600. Nova rings. Nova rings are pretty insane, says Elstro Art. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I got to hear about the production, the R&D process, basically from Carissa. So I think there were, she said, 9 iterations of the physical ring before they came to the perfect ring, and I was like, "Yo, that's amazing." And then at the end of MagiFest Live was the performances by Marty Gilbert. If anybody knows who Marty Gilbert is, or if I've mentioned him on stream, it is the magician who does sleight of hand card magic. But Marty Gilbert was born without any hands, and so I was able to watch Marty Gilbert perform the ambitious card routine, triumph, uh, like palming, like invisible card, but like an abbreviated version, and oil and water on stage, and it was amazing. So yeah. Um, let's see. And then next was the Giancarlo Scalia lecture. Alstro Art says his oil and water is so crazy. I have no idea how he could do it. So I had an idea on how he achieved one phase out of like 4 phases of oil and water. And then I do not know how anything else is done. Um, so yeah, it was amazing. Um, but all right, so let's see. Giancarlo Scalia. I did not really know who he was, but had a lot of very interesting things to talk about during the lecture. But he did showcase a few tricks just to demonstrate things about the lecture. I won't get too deep into most of the things, but um, one of his philosophies about doing magic is that if you structure your trick in a way where there's no moves to hide, then you can just make the actual movement, like, and then there's nothing to hide. That's just what you do. Um, and there was like during one of the tricks, he basically forced the same card 7 times and to go into 4 different pockets, and yet there were still versions of it. But there was only really one It's all sleight of hand based. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like he was doing it like almost like shotgun fast, like psh, 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 and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. He was a practitioner of like show, don't tell. Um, and then actually this name came up a lot, and I know of Gabi Pereiras, and like one of my like fellow magicians in my club, he likes Gabi Pereiras, but Gabi Pereiras' name came up several times in multiple lectures. Um, Giancarlo also did coins through table. He taught me. He actually taught me something that I can use in some of my card magic. I won't even mention what it is all about because I do not want to spoil it for me because I will be using some of this later. Let's see. Um, and apparently, oh yeah, I was a little late getting to this lecture, so I think I missed a few minutes. But apparently, I missed an impromptu invisible deck. So, but it's based on a Vernon classic Travelers. So if that means anything to magicians, I'm gonna have to refresh. But I think I know how it was done based on just that. Um, oh yeah, and the secret of magic that was kind of like a I don't want to say it was a joke. He used it as a joke, but it was actually real advice. Like while you're doing tricks, just smile, especially when you're interacting with real people. They're gonna want to look at your face, and then you do dirty work, like if you need to. Like okay, and then next up was the Axel Hecklau show and lecture. So I think after the Giancarlo lecture, I was tired, and I'm like, there's an hour and a half, 5:30 to 7, between that and the Axel Hecklau lecture and show, and I'm like, let me go back to my hotel room, and because it was only upstairs, and let me see if I can just take a nap. So good thing that I did because I basically passed out. I did set my alarm, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if I turned off my alarm or I didn't really turn it on because by the time I woke up, it was already like 7:15 and I'm like, "Crap, I'm missing part of like this lecture." So, uh also Art, thank you for the jumbo smile emote. And I did get a chance to let me see here. Let me hop back to the let me see here. This one. Let me hop here and that back and then refresh. Okay. And so this is part of Axel Hecklau's um, lecture, but the things that I am showing on the back, I just wanted to reference these, but it's not so much like magic, more about storytelling. So, like, prologue, emotional introduction. Act 1 is establishing the effect. Act 2 is rising level of fairness so that you make sure that everybody knows that yeah there's no possible way this magical thing that can happen should be able to happen, but then it does. And then act 3 is when you actually make it happen, and then the epilogue is the final picture that is going to be retained in the audience's mind. Durkee Blaine says, that piece of advice I find so funny. A buddy mentioned I need to smile more during recordings I've done recently. I joked I was going to do a self working trick while laying on the floor, cards on my face to make the point. Oh, yeah. So it's funny because, like, here's the thing, people will notice when you're performing, and it's like, if you're this magician that never smiles, like, hey, this is a trick. Look at me do this. Isn't that weird? That's so cool, huh? And like, just the fact that if you smile during a trick performance, it like either raises their emotional level, it can work as distraction. It also helps like them empathize and feel with you if you happen to make a mistake. Like there's so many good reasons to smile. And here's the thing, right? Like most of my performance is basically to a camera, right? So there's no real people here, but yeah, like I try and joke with you guys, especially on live stream, because I know that if this was happening in person, it would be more boring if I did not smile or joke with you guys or like emotes, right, in any way. So I think it's both a good point and like even if you don't want to do it, you should learn to harness it so that you can use it as an extra power, right, during real performance. So, all right, so let's see. Axel Hecklau, he had a uh, he had a rope magic. So Axel is kind of like a classical tricks like physical magician, not so much like cards. So like most of the stuff that he does, I wouldn't do, but he goes through a lot of like history, discussion, like philosophy on like how to deal with tricks and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, this is all good stuff. So I actually had a lot of notes from Axel, even though I'm basically not gonna do many of the tricks that he does. But he does like a bunch of rope tricks. He did the linking rings. You can kind of see him holding the rings there. He did a gypsy thread. Um, he did a torn and restored newspaper. He did uh, a putting a knife through spoon trick. Um, and he had like a lot of good quotes too. So like, magic is not a fight. That's a quote that I put down here, and the way that he describes it was that magic, when you are doing performing for the audience, it's not like a fight where the audience, if they're trying to figure it out, is like, yo, I need to figure out how that trick is done, right? So like his philosophy is try and disarm them and just be like, make them laugh, do something so that they forget that it's like, oh, I don't need to solve this to, and like his follow up quote is, if you stop trying to catch the magician, you can enjoy some magic. And so, some people, and this was called out later, but the people who enjoy magic, they'll just go to enjoy magic, whether they're magicians or not. It's the people that they bring with them, they're plus ones that may or may not like magic, that might fall into this category. But yeah, there was one specific trick called the perfect moment that stood out to me that I think I want to somehow work into. But it's he talks about someone being in the right time, place, and person, and he actually does this with cards. And I was I was like excited because it was with jumbo-sized cards, and I'm like, yo. um, So, yeah, and then let's see. Everything else I have is method notes about specific tricks, so we won't talk about those. But let's see here. So after that, let me see here. After Axel Hecklau, I walked around for probably a half an hour because that's all the time we had between that and the Jonathan Levitt show. And let's see. I think that's when I ran into. I probably shouldn't hop around so much if it's going to be this annoying for me. Hang on. So I ran into Bob and Bob. And so I was walking around downstairs. So where there was a secondary bar, there's no secondary bar there anymore. It's just a loungy area. But they were sitting at a table and they were doing card stuff. So I was like, hey, let me walk over. And I just, they said hi. I said hi. Hopefully it's okay. I can watch. And they were like, well, if you want, you can sit down. So I sat down with them. We all exchanged tricks, talked a little bit. And so Bob with the red shirt, he showed me an inverted card trick that had a very nice cleanup afterwards. And I was like, okay, I know how that's done, except for the cleanup at the end. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? He did reveal the method to me later. I was like, yo, that's brilliant. And then other Bob showed me a little something a little bit longer, and then I showed the one that I didn't really have information for, but they were like, "Yo, that's a nice kicker." So, and then and then after that was when we made it to the Jonathan Levitt show. So he was doing the show at night, and then he had a lecture in the morning. And unfortunately, I stayed up Friday night as well, so I couldn't do anything. I missed the lecture in the morning, but this show was, I don't even know how to describe it. It was hilarious and amazing, and so Jonathan Levitt, he showed off some mind reading first, and then So he did 3 card mind reading, and then he said, "Okay, let's try some stuff." He did like a birthday prediction relating to Val Kilmer and some random birthday from somebody in the audience. He did book test, which if anybody is familiar with book test, it is basically magician hands out a book, and then can tell you the first word on whatever page number you turn to. But not only that, he did it for 2 books, and one of the books is not a book that he brought. It was actually just a real version of a book. It was actually the particle system book that Joshua J made. I thought that was hilarious. He talked about the birthday paradox, which if anybody is familiar with the statistical probability, where if you have like 23 people, just randomly chosen people in a room, even though there's 365 days in a year, and you would think that if you just had 23 people, they probably don't have a shared birthday in common. But statistically speaking, if it was truly just a random selection of 23 people, there's an almost certain chance that once you have like 25 people, that there will be 2 people that share the same birthday, like the actual day. And I'm like when I first learned that a long time ago, I was like, whoa, no way. But he brought that up. So if anybody likes math, that is really cool thing that he brought up. Um, but the picture that I took here, let me see how many. So he brought up this girl from the audience. Her name's Sarah, and he asked her to come up with a memory, and she drew a picture of a memory, and she has a birthday, of course. But then he did something weird. He basically decided to call a random number to try and do some magic. Um, so he chose like a real area code from the crowd, um, and then like a random 3-digit number from the crowd, and then another 4-digit number from the crowd. The first phone number just was disconnected, so no answer. But then the second number somebody picked up. And it was apparently in the Boston area. I think the area code was 617. And then 3 random numbers, and then 4 random numbers. And so here he was talking to this person whose name we eventually found out was Greg. But he was like, "Hello, who is this? How'd you get my number? Hold on, who are you?" And I swear, like, I could imagine being the guy on the other side, like, Googling, and like Jonathan Levitt was like, "Hi, I'm Jonathan Levitt, magician. Believe it or not, we're actually on. Don't hang up. Don't hang up." It was so funny. Like you just had to be there. But anyway, so what was the point? So eventually, we get Greg to draw a picture, just a random picture that Sarah sent psychically to him, and as it turns out, when we have the reveal on so at first it was just phone, but then Greg gets on video, just not even being prompted, like and it's like, "Hey, you're on stage in front of like 1,000 magicians or whatever," and he draws a picture and he shows it to the camera. Sarah starts to freak out. She shows her picture, and they are the almost the exact same picture. It's basically a triangle with some stuff on it, but the memory that Sarah describes is a pyramid, because apparently she has been with a pyramid. She's been to a pyramid, had great memories with like her family or something. And so that was like the first coincidence. I was like, "Holy crap, this is so weird but crazy." And so the crowd goes wild. Wasabi111, welcome in. Hi Raiders, how are you doing today? I'm not sure we've come across Wasabi before, but welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for giving the shout out to Wasabi. Let's see. I'm a part-time speedrunner that also has a niche hobby for card magic. What's up? What's up? Hello, welcome in. Yeah, so welcome in, guys. So normally I do sleight of hand card magic on Sundays, but today I'm recapping a convention, which is a magic convention that I just went to. I just came back from it earlier today, actually. Of course, it's been a while since I've stopped by, so welcome in. Yeah, I think I remember hanging out. Do I follow? Okay, I do follow you, so I don't think I've caught a stream. My apologies. But anyway, yeah, so guys, you're not following our friend Wasabi111. Please follow Wasabi111. How was the stream? What were you up to tonight? I have not tried to speedrun anything, but I did watch AGDQ 2025. So there were a lot of excellent runs. I did some speedruns and some card magic. Ah, amazing! Excellent. I'm so happy. So, um, you know what? Let me just quickly show off a deck that I. Antaru! Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Actually, for anybody who doesn't know, if you support with a sub or like 500 bits or a ton of channel points, you get to sign a card on Taru. Uh, I would be uh, I would be honored if you would select a card to sign, and then for the Raiders, I would be willing to do a trick for the Raiders. Let's see, Wasabi111. Was there any particular trick you wanted to see, or um, Mike 2600? Mike 2600, have you? I believe Mike 2600 is a king. Oh, oh, Mike 2600. God damn it! All right, we're gonna finish sorting this. Mike 2600 is the two of clubs, and then I have signed a card. Yes. All right. So on Taru, let me know if you want to sign one. Okay, it's hype trade. Jack of Diamonds. All right, Jack of Diamonds. It is. Right there. Okay. We're gonna sign this for Antaru, and then we will do some magic because it's a hype trade. Antaru. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Alright, okay, first things first. We have... Man, there's so many emotes. Alright, here we go. I'll wait for those emotes to clear. Alright, Antaru, you've signed this. You are now connected to the Jack of Diamonds. Hopefully you'll believe that, because I'm going to go ahead and grab the Jack of Diamonds, place it in the middle of the deck. And if I snap, we're going to make the Jack of Diamonds jump back up to the top, because there it is. And we now know it's the same one because it is now signed. Now, we just got the power. We don't want to waste it. So, look, I'm just going to go ahead and place it in the middle of the deck. Importantly, you'll see that it's... Oh, wait. It's not on the top yet because we didn't snap. That's actually the Jack of Clubs. So, hold on. Let's snap to bring the Jack of Diamonds back up to the top and take a look. Look there, on Taru. There it is. Now, here's the thing. Some people believe that magicians will do some sneaky things like swapping out a card. You'll know that this is not swapped out because that's the signed one, right? So, look, if I go ahead and I take this, place it in the middle of this packet, place this packet, place it in the middle of this packet, and if we take a look, importantly, it's not on the top, not on the bottom, but look, we snap. We're going to bring it to the top. I know. Is that weird? That's super weird, right? So there we go. That is a trick. Now, oh yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, when there's a hype train here, which is why I'm doing magic, I have to do magic tricks as fast as I can. So we're just going to do what I feel comfortable because I wasn't going to do magic tonight. But, okay, alright, so look, here we have the 4 jacks, okay? And what I want to do with the 4 jacks, I want to turn them all face up, but only one card at a time. But I'm not allowed to do it like this because this is how normal people would do it. So what I need to do instead is hold the packet and give it a magical twist. When I give it a magical twist, that's going to go ahead and turn up one of the jacks, in this case the Jack of Spades. Okay, but now look, if I hold the packet and give it a magical twist, Jack of Spades will turn itself face down, and the Jack of Hearts turns itself face up. Is that weird? That's super weird, right? Now, here's the thing. If I go ahead and I hold the packet and give it another magical twist, it's going to turn up the Jack of... and clubs, right? Clubs. Now, we do have one more Jack that we need to turn face up, and it's actually the Jack of... Which one did you sign? Jack of Diamonds, right? Jack of Diamonds. But you'll see that the Jack of Diamonds is tired from the last trick because we called it from the middle of the deck many times come back on top. So look, even one magical twist, nothing is face up. Even if you get 2 magical twists, that's not enough for this. But look, if I go ahead and I just place it on the table and I bring out our the true magical talent of the stream, which is not me, it is... Oh no, I can't find... Where did the deck sock go? Guys, I've lost my friend, the deck sock. We cannot complete the trick without him. Oh, deck sock, here you are. Or her. I don't know. I actually haven't checked. Cannot finish. So when I mess up a trick or I need help with magic, here's the deck sock. The deck sock to do it. Boom. The deck sock has actually turned up your Jack of Diamonds because look. Is that weird? That's super weird, right? Okay, so look, we have two red jacks here. I'm going to turn them face down. Two black jacks here. If I place them in the middle right here, now look, if I just reverse count them, you'll see that the two black jacks are still in the middle. Nothing has changed. But all I have to do is if I hold the packet and give it a magical shake, this magical shake changes everything because now, if you take a look, they've swapped places. The red jacks will be face up in the middle. Is that weird? That's super weird, right? Now look, we'll do that again. So red jacks face up in the middle. If I reverse count them, they're still in the same situation. Okay, but if I go ahead and very nice as was that. But look, if I hold the packet and I give it a magical shake, this magical shake changes everything because look, now the black jacks are face up in the middle. Is that weird? That's super weird, right? Super weird. Okay, and I think that's 5 minutes of hype train. All right. Oh my God! Thank you for the bits and the follows and holy. Oh, let me go back and thank everybody. Let's hop back up here. So thank you so much, Anturu, for the Prime sub. Thank you so much, Mike2600 for the Prime sub. So as we said here, Anturu has just signed the Jack of Diamonds, and Mike2600 has signed the Two of Clubs in the past. Thank you so much for the support. Mike2600, thank you kindly for the bits. Allison the Joker, 47, thanks for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Howdy do it, says Allison the Joker. Well, welcome in. Yes, I don't expose or teach tricks. I guess in the grand scheme of, I've taught like two tricks when I accidentally failed one, and then there's one trick that I set aside to teach, but that's not on the agenda for tonight because I'm trying to recap. But anyway, Wasabi 111, once again, thank you so much for the raid, and hopefully you enjoyed those. For anybody who doesn't know me, hi, my name is Nam, also known as Crazy Asian, spelled this weird way. If you can't read that because it's just too bright, but it's spelled the same way it is in my Twitch. I like to do sleight of hand card magic. I'm not really doing magic tonight. I normally do sleight of hand Sundays during this time slot, but I'm recapping my experience at a recent magic convention called MagiFest. But you just saw a taste of what there normally is. If you want to see more magic, and I'm not currently doing magic, you can check out my stuff on YouTube. Earlier this year, I put up my 300th magic performance video on YouTube. So I heard about it, but was not able to go. Oh, that's unfortunate. Anyway, MagiFest happens every year. So anyway, if you do go, let me know. I may be going on subsequent years, so we'll have to see. But I had a great time at this one. So I was in the middle of talking about a show from Jonathan Levitt. And wow, huge congrats for 300th video. Yes, 300th magic performance. And most of my VODs from Twitch also go up over there as well. So, but yeah, anyway, so let me just give everybody a quick. So here's a bunch of the decks that I got from MagiFest. I just want to show you a quick peek. This is just a quick peek of all the decks. Not even all the decks that I got, but just a bunch of decks. So let me.
Just blew my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, for the raid, let me pull out. So I didn't open most of these yet, but my wife likes Harry Potter, even though she hates magic. She likes Harry Potter. Go figure. I purchased all of the Harry Potter premium decks, which each one is themed as a specific house. That's like $200 right there. Yeah, Alstro Art, you're not incorrect. So, but let me just perform a trick for this for the Raiders. I know I just did like 3 during the hype train, but I feel like I should do one proper. So, all right, but here I'll just show you the deck as well. So this is one of the decks that I got. Here's the 2 Jokers. It's Hagrid and Dobby, right? And then here's what the ace looks like. That's Hedwig, right? Yep. So, and then here's what the spades look like. And then face cards here. And then we've got diamonds, clubs. So here's some face cards here. So if you guys are fans of Harry Potter, you probably know who all those are. I know most of them, but I only saw like the first 4 or 5 movies, and I only read the first book. So, so conceptually, I should know most of these, which I think I do, but I don't want to embarrass myself and just name them all. But yes, Hufflepuff power. So, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So let's hold on. Maybe I should have, while they were in still new deck order, I should have just grabbed some cards. Okay. Let's give these a whirl. I am, I guess, kind of excited to try out any of these new premium decks. They all feel really good. The good premium ones. I did buy some crappy decks, mostly because they were in the bargain bin. So I was like, oh, okay, let me let me get some bargain bin cards. Um, okay, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna introduce you to these aces. Look, there's the ace of diamonds, ace of clubs, ace of hearts, and then ace of spades. I'm going to go ahead and place all the aces out like this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and place 3 cards onto each one of these piles, like so. And then we will square up, and I will try and make all the aces magically, Harry Potter-wise, jump from their specific piles down to here. So look, first one has traveled, because now if we take a look, there's no aces here. Now we knew that the ace of spades was here because that's the one that we placed. That's some other random card, but the ace of hearts has now hopped down here. Okay, next one. That ace will hop from here to here because look, watch. There's no aces here. And if we take a look, we've got, we now have 3 aces down here, the ace of hearts, the ace of clubs, and the ace of spades. Finally, this last one, we now have, hey, I have that deck, says Chan. Because look, we have the ace of diamonds, ace of clubs, ace of hearts, and the ace of spades. Now you're probably thinking there's some shenanigans afoot, and to that I would say yes, you're correct. You're watching a sleight of hand stream, even though I said I was just gonna do the recap. But I'm gonna take the ace of spades and I'm gonna place it into this pile right there. And look, we're gonna go ahead and try and take the ace of spades from that pile, but magically. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if you noticed, but one card has now jumped from this pile to this pile, and look, we have the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs, the ace of hearts, but now the ace of spades is also here. If we take a look, there's no aces here. And that, my friends, is a trick for the raiders. Thank you for the raid, Wasabi111. Okay. All right. So, also for anybody who's new here, normally when I have my sleight of hand streams, I have a trick list, which is just a streamer song list that I only put tricks in, no songs. And viewers can request tricks that I do. So if anybody's interested, you can take a look at the trick list. I won't be taking requests today because we got a, there's a trick list. We have a convention to continue talking about. But thank you so much for the raid. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for the hype train, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. Nope, not that screen. This one. Okay, there we go. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, so random phone call calls Greg, draws a picture. The picture that Greg draws is the same as Sarah, and then everybody in the crowd's like, wait, what's the birthday? And then what does Greg say his birthday is? The exact same birthday that Sarah has. And then the crowd goes nuts. And I'm freaking and I'm like, like I could not make heads or tails of like how this was done or what it would have been done. Um, and that was like, I think the final trick, and it was mind blowing. So yeah, that was the Jonathan Levitt show. And then there was a little bit of time afterwards to chill out. And so let's see, what did I do next? Let's go refer to my pictures. Oh yeah, and this is Sarah on the right, Jonathan Levitt in the middle. He's holding onto his phone. If you look really close, he is talking to somebody, but that's Greg on the phone, like the random phone number that got called. And then yeah, I didn't do anything much. I just hung out, I guess, afterwards. And then this is the Leah Orleans show. So Leah Orleans is this girl over here. She um, isn't as much of a magician, but is very magician adjacent. So she like worked in the. I think she went to circus school, and so she did like a lot of physical magic, and then like other physical feats of like things. And the things that she did were like using a whip, juggling pins, juggling dagger knives, doing a split while juggling daggers. Um, there were a lot of funny jokes in her like show, and the girl that's playing music on the left, she was called Echo, and so she was basically a sounding board for the audience, and also would interject random funny thoughts as well throughout the show. So it was really funny, very enjoyable show. There was this really funny bit that they did. So also she was juggling on a unicycle, Leo was, and it was the unicycle of invisibility. Oh, sorry, of instability. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. And there was like a cartoonish rewind because Echo would make this noise. It would be like a very cartoony noise. Um, and then she would show off. Leo would show off. She was also a contortionist. And the finale was actually kind of like a serious feat. And I think she appealed to like everybody putting in hard work and stuff because she explained how she learned how to shoot a bow and arrow with her feet. Let's see. Wasabi111 says Jonathan Levitt is amazing, super smart, and excellent magician and performer. I know. I was so bummed that I slept through his lecture, and I was like, between getting sleep and going to the lecture, what's more important? And obviously, both my body and my I chose. I am jealous. I mean, it is also expensive to go, so I mean, so this year because I went alone, I didn't have any roommates, so I couldn't split costs with anybody. So I basically fronted the my own hotel room for the entire weekend. Here's Leah doing some stuff acrobatically. So there was a screen on the right and to the left, and then in the picture, the center is on the left. So that's like the real shot of her. It was funny too because sometimes the screens would be off by like a half second to a second. And so, and here she is standing with her bow and arrow. And let me see here if we can get a close up. So she's going to basically contort and then hold the bow and arrow with her feet in a second, like this. So this was the final act. And she draws, like here, she's drawing the string with her foot. She is hilarious as Turkey Blaine. Oh yeah, yeah, she was very hilarious. I agree. If you've ever seen or heard her before, it is. Um, and then she aims, and then boom, first try. No, just so recording was not allowed. But as you can see, like just in my picture, the crowd is also either taking pictures or video. I did not take any video when I was not supposed to, but I did snap pictures, of course. So, oh man. So yeah, that was a great show. Um, oh okay, and so now hopping back to the schedule here. So that was the Leo Orleans show. I did get a chance to go see Abby Segal bar magic afterwards, and so that was this next picture. Whoops, not the food. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna have to refresh it again. Okay. So here I am at the fake bar. So it's not a real bar, but they set this up pretty much every year. And anybody who's doing bar magic in the hangout area is basically doing it here. And so she had, I think, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 tricks that she would just cycle through for like a half an hour, and then like people who were there, she would encourage them to cycle to let other people who hadn't seen. And so it was cool. I actually got a chance afterwards to stand right in front, and she had me sign a card for one of her tricks. And then, of course, I asked her, "Can we get a selfie?" So there's me, my signed card, and her. So, and I did take some pictures of like the hangout area here, just so you see like how many. And these are basically either all magicians or all people part of the magic community. You might recognize some faces if you are familiar. There's even some famous magicians that I don't necessarily know, but I mean, like, so there's like Rostami, I think, is a popular magic creator. This is, I believe, Kyle Purnell here. So, um, let's see. Oh yeah, I want to take a picture of this because so this is Felice, and so I'd met her the day before, and here she is doing crayon magic, which because a lot of the moves that she was using all were basically cigarette magic, but because cigarettes have kind of fallen out of favor, and so somebody said later, oh, Felice keeping cigarette magic alive, and actually you can kind of see because she put it in her mouth. There was actually a gag in her routine, like where she actually has. Hold on, let me see. No, no, I didn't. So basically, she did this routine where she actually pulls out a lighter and either the cigarette disappears or the lighter disappears, and it was a very good routine. And then at the end, there's this gag. I don't know if I should spoil it just in case you. But anyway, she has a crayon sticker underneath her sleeve, and she pulls it up. It's like, oh yeah, I have the patch. I'm trying to quit. She's trying to quit crayons, and it's a sticker of Crayola crayons. And I I died inside. I just verbally laughed, not as hard as I felt on the inside, but it was good. It's so good. Alstro's Rostami's app is down. Oh, and there's a lot of drama there, lol. Whoa, Rostami's app is down? Oh, no. I did not know that, Alstro. Thanks for sharing that. That is awesome, lol. Yeah, so that was Felice's routine. So there's a bunch of people doing just card tricks, coin tricks, rope tricks, cups and balls, just at the tables. This is the chandelier over the escalators going from the lobby to the main floor here. Ooh, bad timing, lol. Oh, I did approach Leah afterwards. So she advertises her show as the Tiny Girl Big Show. And did get a picture with her, chatted with her for a minute, basically just telling her how like how much I enjoyed her show, how inspiring her story was, and stuff like that. So got a selfie, of course. Uh, yo, I had to take a picture of this table. This was a cool table, FYI. For magicians, there's a secret with this table. And then for anybody else, oh my God. So look, all of these cards, he created this table. All of these cards are actual cards. Like if you could see the bottom of it, you could actually see the bottoms of the cards. Oh wow, that is sick. Yeah, I know. So, let's see. I got a chance to meet. I think his name is Bryden. And apparently uh, he was somebody else that I was sitting near, Donovan, a friend of Donovan's, and he works for Penguin Magic, and he had me show the trick that I wanted to know if anybody knew where it came from or who made it or whatever. So I showed him. We sat and kind of jammed for a little bit, so that was fun. Um, Jerky Blaine says Tom Mullica did a cigarette trick, basically eating a whole pack. I remember trying to learn it in college during the phase where I didn't care about my health. Yeah, I mean, Jerky Blaine, I think Tom Mullica, he's the one that, I mean, he's not just eating a whole packet of cigarettes, he's literally holding all of the lit cigarettes in his mouth, right? Like, there's no magic there. He's literally just hiding them in his mouth. Like, which is insane. Like, oh my god. And if that's not the person I'm thinking about, then you're thinking of somebody else and not the person I'm thinking of. But anyway, and Chance is nice. And Wasabi11 said, "Oh, that was sick," but that was to the table, I believe, right? So, not. I mean, even though the cigarette trick is also sick, but in a different way. And this is Donovan. That I got a picture with afterwards. Because I was like, wait, before you go, let me get a picture. So, and this was the part where I was like, this was maybe when I was not meant to. So I started recording a trick that Donovan was doing, and then Donovan like messes up the trick, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to share that, and so it was probably not meant to be. So, and then we got a picture of all three of us. I'm probably going to share a bunch of these later. So after that, I go downstairs and I'm just walking around to see who I can get a picture with. And so for those of you who don't know or don't know what they look like, but so on the far right, John Carlo. So I went to his lecture earlier in the day, and middle is Monty Gilbert, the sleight of hand card magician that has no hands. Um, Also performed earlier in the day, and I got a selfie with them. I didn't really get a chance to chat with them. I believe they were celebrating, and they were actually pretty deep into a bottle of champagne, and so I almost felt like I was intruding, but I think they were happy that I just fine, but I didn't want to like insert myself into their both celebratory, and it almost looked like they were also having an emotional discussion. So I was like, I felt like I was intruding, but anyway, but I got a selfie with them, so that's there you go. And this is another magician that I met upstairs. So this is Daniel, and he has a social media presence as well. So we both followed each other on Instagram and on YouTube. So I'll have to find his YouTube later. I'll share it out later. But he is a gigging magician in New York City, and we shared some stuff. We jammed a little bit. He actually practiced some new coin stuff on me. So like I think he bought one of the tricks earlier that day too. So and already he could perform it I think mostly fine. Just and since he'd never like he performed it like two or three times before me basically, just with other people. And I was like, oh well, okay. So I gave him some feedback and hopefully that helps. So all right. Let me see. What is this? This is now okay. This is going to Saturday, so we're not quite there yet. So let's see. That was Friday. All right. Now, for anybody who's been sitting around for a while and is not hydrated, please hydrate. All right. This might be longer than a regular stream because I am just talking. We need to do Saturday. Oh, actually, there's only one more day, but I mean, there's a full. So that was Friday. Okay. Saturday. Let me hop back to this view. And let's go to. Oh, let me go to the Saturday schedule. Here we go, Saturday schedule. So as I mentioned, I could not. I basically slept because I hung out way too late on Friday night. So I basically missed Jonathan Levitt's lecture, unfortunately. I don't know if he would have divulged all of his secrets for all the show the previous night, but I was a little bummed about that. So I was able to make it to the David Ben show and lecture. Um, Now I didn't really know who David Ben was, but actually David Ben probably one of the last remaining active magicians that I think worked directly with some of the greats, like Marlowe, Vernon, and so. And actually, I'd seen David Ben just the previous night, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people around him. I don't know who he is. I probably should know who he is. So I felt bad after I realized who he was. I'm like, oh no, I was literally standing next to him like the night before. But you live and you learn. So David Ben. So the thing was, David Ben He opened up with like, he's extremely tired. He probably shouldn't have been out, but he decided to do the lecture anyway and push through because he was diagnosed with cancer last year, and he's going through radiation therapy. So, uh, yeah, it was tough. But also, he was autographing like pictures, and that for the VIPs because that was, I think, something that was promised to the VIPs. But then also, he basically pushed forward after the lecture and the show. He was continuing to autograph a bunch so that anybody else who wanted them could purchase them. There were a limited number. I didn't check to see if they were sold out later, but I imagine they should have been probably. But so yeah, David Ben, he discussed um, a lot of history, a lot of the people that inspired him, like Bob Farmer, E.S. Andrews, a.k.a. S.W. Erdnase. Um, let's see, Ross Bertram, Stuart James, Jay Marshall, Patrick Watson, Alan Slate. There's a bunch of other things, Di Vernon. There's a bunch of other things associated with them, but I don't want to get too deep. And honestly, nobody would be interested except for magicians probably that know a bunch of these names. So, um, and then there's something I have to look up. Chico Marx piano. I don't know why I have that. I think it was the point that was made, I think, with this was because people who love their craft, performing their art, they just love doing it for the sake of doing it and not because somebody's watching. And I think Chico Marx was a piano reference because there's a video of him apparently, like old black and white video of him playing piano, and like it just looks like he's just jamming like he doesn't care if anybody's watching and there was somebody recording, but like that's just how he would play anyway. So I think that was the thing. The other cool thing was, how I like to do twisting the aces. David Ben did twisting the aces and gave a lecture about it. I'm like, yo, I'm doing a trick that one of the greats is doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. Um, he did show off some sleights. The biggest one I think everybody cheered was the one-handed second deal, and I'm like, oh. And then, yeah, so there was a lot more to that, but there was a lot of historical stuff. So, and that was the David Ben show and lecture. Let me see if. Oh yeah, let me hop to the picture. I think I did a couple of pictures of. Hold on. I have to swap to this picture. Yeah. Okay. So this is David Ben as a young boy, and when he worked in a magic shop. One-handed seconds are really hard. It must have looked amazing. Yeah. So the first time we saw it, we were like, "What?" And then he did it a second time, and then like the crowd cheered, and it was just like he was just nonchalantly just like, "Yeah, here it is." Like, oh man. So, oh yeah, another quote from the David Ben lecture. I'll share this one. So when he was working at a magic shop, one of the quotes that he had heard was, "Either you are in front of the counter or behind it." And I think it was just because once you work at a magic shop, you kind of know all of the tricks, and you kind of have to learn all the tricks so that if somebody buys it, you're ready to teach it, kind of thing. And so, even if you're just a person who walks in the store, you are already a person who's either in front or behind the counter. If you're already a magician, you are probably behind. Like, you're basically let in once you understand like what it's like to perform some of the methods of magic, things like that. And so yeah, that is, and that's a picture of him now. That was actually the picture that was used for the all the pictures that he gets to autograph for everybody. Yeah, here's one of the people that inspired him, Di Vernon, which anybody who's into card magic already probably knows about Di Vernon. So but here's some advice: pick one trick, commit to being the very best at that one trick, learn how to use a knife and fork, and you will meet new friends. If anybody wants to know more about that learn to use a knife and fork thing, ask me later. Arts and culture, some more slides, but it was just from his thing. So, yep. Okay. So after that, I had some time to kill. Chan the Magic Man says, "Wow, so much history." Yeah, I know. Like I was just like, "Oh my god, I didn't know who David Ben was." Now I do. So consider me educated. And yeah. So I went back into the expo hall or the dealer's room. Sorry, I say expo hall because like other conventions call it the expo hall, but this is really just one room with just like I don't know how many booths there were. Maybe like 30, maybe not even, maybe 20. I don't know. But I stopped to take a picture here because as I was walking around, she was working at a card like selling booth, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to pick up these cards and try them out and tell me?" And I thought she was trying to get me to buy something. She actually wanted someone who knew cards to tell her something. And actually, I don't know how it was tipped off, but perhaps she might have seen my badge. So here's my badge. Actually, let me hop over to this view. So here's my badge. That's, if you guys didn't know my last name, there it is. But on the other side of this, I'd placed, and it says, I heart card tricks. So that's probably the dead giveaway, knowing that I knew something about cards. Anyway, so hopping back to this picture. So I showed her a couple of tricks using a deck, and she wanted to know, like, what do I look for in a deck? And so I told her about, uh, how the cards feel, how they slide off of each other. I showed her two tricks and kind of like what I look for in cards that help me do those tricks. I didn't tell her how those tricks were done because I sensed that she was not a magician. But and then we got a selfie. So because I was like, "Can I get a selfie with you?" All right. So yeah, that was that. And so here's a picture with me and Axel. I don't know if Hellthorn is still here, but if not, remind me to clip this for him. But I got to see, yeah, first of all, I had already seen the Axel show and lecture. Well, I did miss like the first few minutes of the show, but I saw most of it. And then the lecture, I saw the entire lecture. I talked to him for a minute about the lecture, but this was when I was eating pizza, and he also got a pizza, and he came and stood over next to me. Like I was already there, and he just came over and stood next to me. And so we just chatted for a minute and mostly just ate our pizza. But Nam wants to touch the mustache, says Turkey Plain. I mean, I wasn't going to be rude, but I mean, first of all, people with like wonderful facial hair, the thought sometimes does occur, right? Like, so yeah, that's Axel Hecklau, and I got this selfie with him. So, and yeah, we guys, I could say that Axel and I had pizza together. That's basically what I can say. Let's see. Oh, okay. And then I went back into or I went back to the dealer's room, and if Mike 2600 is still here, uh, I Mike 2600 had asked me to see if I could get any of these magazines and how much they were, or at least to see scope them out. And so I believe Andrew had all three of these available, and I texted Mike 2600, hey, he's got these 20 each or the entire set for 40. And well, we basically said he basically said, "Yo, all of them." And so Mike 2600, I got them right here. These are for you. We'll work out getting them to you a little bit later. So here they are. But yeah, they all have uh, some magic secrets in them. Let's go ahead and you know what? Let's show the table of contents of these, just so if anybody else gets intrigued, you can also uh, potentially find. Yeah. So here is Magazine Tricks Content Edition. Table of contents is here. So we won't go through all the names just out loud. We'll just give you a flash of each one. This one is Magazine Tricks Volume 5. Let's go ahead and give you a flash of the table of contents there. Some of those names are hilarious. And then this one, Magazine Tricks Volume with Length, Width, and Height. We'll go table of contents there. Just the names of things. Wow, some of these are really cool. Mike 2600. I might have to look at some of these before I send them over to you. But yeah, one of the things that bothers me about some books is that their table of contents is not available. So at least we now have a recording of what the what tricks are in those, so that people can know. All right. Okay, back to this. Uh, Hold on. My kid might be waking up. Hopefully not, but let me just double check the camera and make sure she's okay. Okay. Hopefully she settled down and it's gonna be good. All right. Okay. Cool. So yep, we ended up getting them, and then oh yeah. So at this point, I had a few minutes to kill before the Javi Benitez lecture, and I went upstairs to actually talk on the phone with my kid and my wife. We did a video call, and so basically I went away from the main floor and upstairs. It's a lot more quiet, and basically nobody. It's not really a hangout area. So, and I'd been going up there to fill up my water bottle because there's a water fountain up there. But so I finished talking video call, and because video call is basically auto speaker, as I was walking away, this couple says, "Oh, you're from Rochester," and I forgot how they segued. I think it was like their kid had gone to Rochester or something. I don't think they live there now, but wondered if their kid. Oh no, no, maybe their kid lives in Rochester or something. But I asked them if their kid was into magic, and they were like, "No." But they basically told me um, how cute and heartening it was to see me talking with my kid on the phone and hearing me the conversation. Um, just hey, you're a dad also coming to a magic convention. Hey, if your kid ever gets into magic, you could totally bring them along. But I ended up sitting down and chatting with them for a few minutes. Very nice. I didn't get a chance to show them any magic, although they've probably seen a bunch because they've been to MagiFest for like ever. But it was a nice little memory of just being like, yeah, and it was actually weird timing because my kid made some sounds on the alarm because I am a dad first, before anything else, before my work, before being a magician even, and so perfect timing, kid, perfect timing. All right, okay. Before we get to this, let's jump back to the schedule. Oh no, not the food. Oh, actually, wait. Yeah, yeah. Let's go to the food because I did take a picture of the pizza. There you go. E-room. E-room wanted to see the picture of the pizza, so that was my pizza, and then Axel got just a slice of cheese. Turkey Blaine says, "I need more books. Most of mine are more PDF format." Shake my head. Nah, I mean that's okay if you have PDF format books. I mean, just looks so good. I mean, so this was the pizza they were just serving like at the venue, and so like it wasn't really the best, but actually it wasn't that bad. Considering like I only had a half an hour time frame between shows, and so I was just like get pizza, eat it, and then talk on the phone, and then it's time for the next thing. So, but I got it. If it wasn't for the pizza being here, I got a chance to eat pizza with Axel. So there we go. All right. So okay, back to this. Wait, back to the schedule. Okay, so that was the David Ben show and lecture. And then next up is the Javi Benitez show and lecture, which now looking at my pictures, I don't believe I got any pictures of, but let me see. I have some notes. Javi Benitez. So I was super pumped for seeing the Javi Benitez show and lecture because I became a huge fan when I saw him perform. It's on a YouTube video, his Restless Lady 2.0, and I'm like, that performance is amazing. I've got to learn this. And then apparently his 2.0 version is based on the original version, which is the one that I ended up learning. I ended up learning the original one because I couldn't fully at the time work out. the 2.0 version. Um, and so actually maybe I should revisit that now. But and then he ended up going on Fool Us, and he performed his Fool Us show later in the lecture. So he started out with a Follow the Leader, and then he performed Gypsy Thread, and then his Fool Us act. And at each point, it wasn't just a showing us the trick, but it was like a full performance. And like, if anybody's seen Danny D. Ortiz, Javi Benitez's like style is very close to that in Juan Tamariz. So if you're familiar with their style, it's basically a very similar style. He was mentored by Ascanio, so Arturo de Ascanio. Um, and in his lecture, Javi mentions A.I.A.I.A, which stands for attention. So draw in your audience's attention. Interest, create their interest. Astonishment, get the audience's astonishment. Uh, eyes, illusion, so show them the illusion. And then applause, so get their applause. And those are like the that's the A.I.A.I.A. But let's see, sign cards. So he did a sign cards through table as part of the lecture, and I was like, wow. I was very impressed with the performance of it and the lecture, and I was like, wow. And once again, Gabi Perez's name shows up again in a lecture. Um, and I'm not going to go into any of the notes about the method or anything, but just imagine four signed aces, and then he slowly pushes them through the table. Like the first card goes under, the second card goes under, the third card goes under, and even the fourth one. And I was like, oh my god. And the way it's done, it was so good, so clever, so smooth. Like I don't think I could do it now, even knowing how it's done. Like it would take some practice, I think. Um, oh, he had a false teeth gag called Teeth Nightmare is the name of the trick. Um, and then he has a version. He did give a lecture on the gypsy thread. So his gypsy thread was different than Axel's gypsy thread, but similar. And then yeah, so that was the Javi Benitez show and lecture. And then we had a break. So after that, 4 to 5 was the Justin Willman interview. So I probably just went back and just like finished buying whatever I needed to buy from the dealer's room. I did get another thing that I bought was a brand new medium sized. Oh, yeah, let me change the screen here. I did get a carrying case and a new mat. Not to replace this. This one's a jumbo sized one. This one is to replace the middle sized one that would be like a travel. But it is a nice black color, and I got a nice green case. I have another one upstairs that's blue that's this size, so I can use this case for this and the blue one. I imagine I'd only be carrying one at a time, so. But I did buy this, so pretty sweet, pretty nice. And look, there's like almost nothing on it so far, so. And then for some magicians out there as well, I will show off. I won't show off the components in this box, but it is a box from by Bacon Magic. So there was a booth, and they are, I believe, Japanese or Chinese. I'm not sure. But let me see. Does that look like? What does that look like? Does that look like Chinese? That's probably Chinese. Okay. But yeah, so I got Trans Matrix. There you go. I won't divulge what that's about for fear of spoiling my future performance of it. So, wow, it looks really nice. Thanks, Wasabi 111. Okay, let's see. And then, oh, what else is in this box? Did I not show? So yeah, I basically made all my final purchases and stuff at that point. Yep. Okay. Cool. I think and all the decks and stuff. So oh, actually, one thing I wanted to show as a deck. If anybody was on stream when I got a partial deck from Barnes and Noble once. Uh, I forgot which one it was, but it was one of these two. I think it might have been this one. And I got it from Barnes and Noble, and they were expecting me to pay a bunch of money for a deck that was used, and I'm like, there's no guarantee. And I'm absolutely certain a magician had gotten into it because there was basically it was basically gutted. There was only three suits, and then like many duplicates of like an entire suit. So uh, anyway, I got a full deck, like brand new, and so we can compare and contrast on another stream. But that was the intent. Also, I didn't open this yet, but MagiFest also gave out to all attendees this deck this year. Um, so I don't want to divulge exactly what's in it, but I know what's in it because it is a regular deck plus some stuff to do a trick that I do. I don't want to give away the name, but because then you'll probably suspect some shenanigans. But yeah, okay. Barnes and Noble are one of the best places to find good cards, in my opinion. I mean, the places that will carry like premium cards, I mean, they are starting to realize that playing cards sell. Like, so I've seen Barnes and Noble, Target, um, like a bunch of stores in the mall that just randomly have like Theory 11 cards. I'm just like, why? Why do you guys have this? Me, I go to my CVS and get my bicycle cards there. Yeah, I buy bicycle cards online because I just want to buy them by the brick because I'll just go through them. Okay, let's see. Now we come to 5 o'clock on Saturday, and it is Justin Willman interview. So this is the interview of Justin Willman. So in the past, there have been people who get interviewed because they're like the person of honor. And nope, not the pizza one. There we go. Alstro Art says, yeah, Amazon is still the cheapest to buy bricks of bicycle. Yeah. So I found that, yeah, Amazon is perfectly fine to buy bricks of bicycle. Also, eBay is comparable. If you need to get bicycles cheaper, there's only one way that I've found and confirmed with another magician, and it is buying them by the gross. So it is literally 12 times 12. So it's 12 bricks. So if you get them by the gross, so 144 decks at a time, you can get the unit price per deck lower. But that is the only other way. Otherwise, a brick from Kentucky on Amazon or eBay, probably as good as you're going to get if you don't buy the gross. So Theory 11 has really nice quality cards. Yes, I agree. Theory 11, very good quality premium cards. Like most of my premium decks that I enjoy using most are Theory 11. So, yep, agree. All right, so this screen. Okay, so a couple of things. So first of all, if anybody who doesn't know, Justin Willman, famous magician, probably one of the biggest magicians touring right now that has like a family-friendly show in North America. Justin Willman also has his own show. Well, had his own show on Netflix called Magic for Humans, and also the amazing thing. So this picture, one of these, I believe, the one on the left is well, one of these is Joshua J, and one of these is Justin Willman. I think the one on the left is Joshua J, and the one on the right is Justin Willman. But apparently they go back like forever. So Joshua J is one of the two basically faces of Vanishing Ink. He and Andy Gladwin, but Andy Gladwin I think had to leave early on Saturday. So, but so basically Joshua J interviewed Justin Willman, had wonderful discussion. But yeah, they go way back. Um, let's see. There were a lot of good questions about like show business magic versus like live show magic. And Justin Willman prefers doing live shows over TV media because when you're creating TV media magic, you have like an entire crew doing all the TV stuff, and like you have to get the shots. But if the people don't react the right way, and if they're just random people that don't have a good reaction for TV, they're not going to make the show out of it, right? And so doing certain things. but there are a lot of like projects that he could do that he couldn't necessarily do, um, in live show. So he talked about psychic surgery a lot, which if anybody had seen there was an episode of Magic for Humans where he did a psychic surgery like thing where he talked about removing chips, like government chips from people, and that was so he talked about that, but he actually showed like photos and video of like the process of creating that. That was super interesting. Some of it looked really gross too, so um, and then he did like digital shows for COVID, like a lot of magicians ended up doing. Um, let's see. The other thing was that so the show that he was touring with, he's going to retire that show. And actually, we saw that show for the gala show, which I'm going to talk about shortly after this, because he's just going to completely trash the show because if you guys didn't know, there's a filmed Netflix special that Justin Willman did, so it's been recorded. It's actually going to release later this year, in June or July. And so, if anybody wants to watch that special, it will effectively be this gala show that we saw, or this tour show that he was touring with, because it'll be the last time. So the gala show at MagiFest, this was the last time he was going to perform this. So if you're curious about watching this, and you have Netflix, you can watch it when it comes out later this year, so in June or July. Yep. Marshall Silver, welcome in. How's it going? How are you doing today, Marshall Silver? Today I'm just recapping my trip to a magic convention called MagiFest. So this is the last day on Saturday. We're kind of mostly through the day. Let's see. And then he talked about his Invisible Man bit, which is the one thing from the show that went unexpectedly viral, and everybody else was like doing it on social media and stuff. So he did confess that a bunch of stuff in his show probably wouldn't fool all the magicians, but he does like reskin them for a general audience, and so that was very interesting to see and do. Oh yeah, I forgot to advance just in case there's more pictures here. Oh yeah, so here they're both talking. They're basically like old friends that are chatting on the stage. So it seemed really cool. Oh, this was the guy that I was sitting next to. He actually knew of a local university here, but we just like sitting next to each other in the audience. So, oh, after this, because I had a gap. So if we look at the schedule again here, so between the lectures, six, the show wasn't going to start until 8:30, so there's a 2.5 hour gap. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to get a really good dinner, now's the time. And so I decided to. There was a place that I went to a couple years ago when I went the first time, that had really amazing tacos. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to that place. So let's hop back to the food picture and scroll. Okay, so here. So the place I went to is called Condado Tacos. And so here's their menu, but basically they just have a bunch of amazing tacos. And I was like, okay, so they have a lot of unique tacos. So I got the Blue Dream here. I got the chicken bacon ranch here, and then I got the sweet heat here. So I just wanted to try three different tacos. Um, and but you could build your own taco if you didn't like any of their pre-made tacos. So that's the great thing about their menu. And it was chill vibe, and it was super busy. You saw a bunch of magicians there, but they still were very attentive to everybody. Everybody looked busy, so very good service. You can build your own burrito too. I didn't build a burrito because I'm like, I'm gonna have their tacos. I was actually thinking about having a fourth one, but I only had the three, and I'm like, I'm good. So here are my tacos. So this left one is the chicken one, and then this middle one is the um, the steak one, and then this one is the beef one. So they all had some level of spice to it, even though this is the only one that I think that had some level of spice advertised, but really good. Um, so that was Condado's Tacos. Now, this was about 2 blocks away from where the hotel was, and so outside there was like something that I felt like was the equivalent of like a like a town center or something, and so I ended up going out there to explore a little bit. Uh, Hold on, let me. I might have to refresh it. Hang on. Okay, there we go. And basically, when I went there a couple years ago, it was both partially under construction and like uh, not finished. And so I wanted to see what it looked like. And because I saw a bunch of lights, I was like, I need to go there and see what happened. And so these are all the pictures that I took there because I'm like, there's still Christmas here. So here we go. Tried to take a selfie. They turned out blurry, either one or the other. So I probably won't share those. So you guys got to see them. So here's more lights. Me walking down the path. They had a really cool light tunnel down the walkway here. Um, and then actually, when I approached the this tunnel after I took this selfie, I think there was a couple, like an Asian couple, that was walking nearby, and then after I took my picture, they wanted to take their picture up against the backdrop of this, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys like?" They were trying to take a selfie, and I almost feel like, you know how like when I take selfies, I know what other people taking selfies look like. They felt like they did not like know how to take a selfie, so I'm like, "Do you guys want me to take your picture?" And they said, "Oh yeah, yeah, please, please," and I was like, "Sure, no problem." So they stood. I took 4 pictures. I think 4 or 5. I took at least 2 in landscape, 2 in portrait, and hopefully they liked them. I think they did. They didn't ask me for another one, but regardless, I'm sure at least one of them was good. And then I took a bunch of more pictures just walking down. This is me looking off to the right. There's more lights like just across this what appears to be a courtyard or whatever. And then me walking down the tunnel, and then me looking to the left. There was a stage that was like put up with a bunch of lights in it. Um, and so, and then looking to the right again, there was this light that just had, and I was like, wait, why is it? Oh, so I walked to the other side. So this was, oh, that's a nice picture. And then I walked to the other side of this. I got a selfie. This one I like. This one's really good. and then and then the stage, if you look at it from the grassy area, you can see the stage through the circle. I'm like, oh, that's why it's there. It's got to be. And then I see this some more lights as I finish walking through. Um, I see this strange thing off to the right. It's kind of behind a little fenced area, but I'm like, this is cool enough. I want to see what the heck it is. And it looks to be like um like an electronic exercise game, and technically it was behind the fenced area that if I just stepped on the grass I can get around it, but like I was like it probably made noise, so I didn't want to turn it on, but I stepped into it, took some pictures, and it looks like there's a bunch of mini games, so like maybe you could press the buttons in like a different formation or whatever, so it looks like quickly tap, press 2 lights at the same time kind of things. How quickly can you press 40 lights, that's so it looks like a really cool thing. I wanted to try it out, but it's super cold, and I just wanted to take some pictures and just go. So, but here's what the panel looked like on the other side. So this is how you choose your game, I think. 1 player, 2 players, and then you choose the game, and then a little display, and then here's the entire contraption, just like from another angle. So that was cool. If I ever go back during nice weather, I saw that this was nicely colored. It's just me walking back to the hotel. And then, oh, I saw Joshua J in the elevator. I'm like, hey, Josh, can I get a selfie with you? So we did. Because I did get one with Andy a couple years ago, but I didn't get one with Josh. So I got one with Josh this year. And then I missed Andy before he left. Oh, and then this is me and someone that I'm. He's covering his face because I don't know if he's trying to hide himself from, but it's already too late. I already got him. um, but this guy might be joining my local clubs because apparently he's near where I live, like an hour away. So he might be able to visit the local magicians, um, Sam meetings once a month. So I might be seeing him later. And then, so this was his first MagiFest. This was my second. And then he said this guy was just sitting there. I don't even know what his name was. Michael. So this was his 29th MagiFest. So he's been here a while. Yeah, there's graffiti on the control panel, and yes, David Parr in the background. Yes, that's right. Alstro Art, were you on earlier when I showed you? I got a selfie with David Parr. I did get a selfie with David Parr earlier. So, but yes, that was David Parr, correct. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So yeah, this is Justin Willman, the Illusionati tour, and so yeah, this was the last night I think he was doing this special. So, of course, no recording, but I did get a couple of pictures. Actually, I'll leave this one on, but so he did an intro, and then he did a mystery box, and then he asked somebody in the crowd about like his first crush, and the guy in the crowd was like 60 or something, and his first crush, I don't know, kindergarten or something. Let's see, there was one plus one um, that wanted to know how tricks were done. He picked on her like a lot throughout the night. He asked the crowd for a $1 bill to do a not torn a bill change. He changed the $1 bill to a 20 and then gave the 20 out. And so, just rewarding the person who gave him a dollar. But then somebody else was like, "Hey, I have 100," and he's like, "Oh, let me get that 100." He turned the 100 to a $1 bill and gave it back to the guy and told him to go back to his seat. Um, there was another act where he asked to borrow a phone, and a little girl grabs her dad's phone. I mean, with his consent, like during like Justin Willman was like, well, can she bring up your phone, Dad?" Like so, and it was a smashing the phone routine in a bunch of envelopes. So, uh, and then next was a Rubik's Cube scramble and solve, a blindfolded solve. Not from him, but like somebody from the audience. Then he did a torn and restored $1 bill because he called back to the guy that he gave a $1 bill to, and he restored it inverted. So if you've seen that one where it's not like a full dollar bill, but like the dollar bill, yeah. Alstro Art says deserved. Yeah, absolutely. Man, everybody in the crowd was like, "Yo, that's." It was hilarious. The show was amazing. Um, so then he gave the inverted one back to him and then told him to sit back down. And then after that, he did a zip code demonstration. And actually, I think I'd known this before because I think he had done this. But Justin Willman, he told the story about how he was given a book of zip codes when he was a kid to memorize when he broke his arms, like when he was young. And I don't know if that's entirely true, but I think it's true. I think he did learn all of the zip codes. And so throughout, and basically at this point, he was asking people for their zip code, and then he would tell them like what city or town it was in. And there was some like cities and towns that I'm like, how the heck would anybody know this unless they actually knew this? Um, and then after that, he calls the guy with the inverted $1 bill back, and he's like, okay, I'll give you a choice of two wallets. One wallet has $100 in it, and you get to keep what you find in the wallet. And so, just to give him back, quote unquote, give him back his $100. So he chooses a wallet. He gets the $100. Justin Willman opens the other wallet and pulls out like $500. So it was hilarious. Then Justin Willman does a gypsy thread with a balloon. So gypsy thread is normally done with two hands and horizontally. This one, because it was on a balloon, vertically, and there's this constant pull of the balloon. And then he did this final act with five kids in colored chairs with animals, with a Wordle connection connected to a zip code. And I honestly, I think I know how like one version of like one of these is done. I do not know how he tied all four or five things together. It was just ridiculous how amazing this final thing was. Um, I like these images are not doing my story justice. Like you just have to see it. I do not want to spoil anything for anybody who will eventually watch the Netflix special. It was just insane. Like, but it was so cleverly written, so cleverly like tied together. There were so many jokes throughout the whole thing that just called back. He specialized some jokes because he knew he was in front of magicians. He was at MagiFest, so he called out a couple of specific things just for us. Um, and so, yeah. And the one amazing thing too is that typically we would never see a gala show like this because all previous gala shows were like single acts from a lot of different people. So like the one that I went to a couple years ago, there were like I think maybe 6 or 8 performers, and they all had their own act. And because this was like an entire show for the entire gala show, just all in one, he could do tricks that were like would have callbacks to previous tricks, and it was amazing. So I I think it was well worth the experiment to try a one person gala show, and I think it worked. I think it worked very well. So that's the last of my notes from my notebook. So the rest is just pictures, and we'll close it out soon. So um, there's just me taking a selfie with Justin Wilman. Oh yeah, guys, if you did not remember, so I actually met Billy um, first time at TwitchCon. So if you guys were at my recap for my TwitchCon when I showed my magic, so Billy came up to me, gave me a deck of cards, and I recognized him. Earlier in the weekend, I was like, "Hey, you came to TwitchCon," and so anyway, I when I met up with him, we just chatted for like a minute, but then like I guess he was everybody was seeing people that we knew, so I didn't get a selfie with him then. So I was like, crap, it's Saturday night. If I don't get a selfie with Billy, I have to find him. So I walked around until I found him, and I was like, okay, here he is. Hey, we need to get a selfie, and so here we are. So Wasabi 1-1, awesome, yeah. And then I took a picture. So this was going on as well. I believe she has a girlfriend, and this was just somebody using the bar for a picture, but I was like, he looks really good right there, as you know, trying to do magic. And then and I got a selfie with Javi Benitez. So I saw him just hanging out, and I was like, oh, I gotta tell him what I thought about his lecture, how I saw him first, or at least was inspired to learn a trick because of him. So and then we chatted for a bit. I actually told him about my YouTube channel and my Twitch stream, and so he subscribed to me on YouTube, and I'm like, guys, this might be like the most famous magician to follow my to give me a subscribe on YouTube. So, but yeah, I actually spoke with Javi for probably 5 or more minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. Like I hung out with him for a few, so this was super cool. And then I actually hung out a little bit at a table the night before, and if anybody knows, this is Chris Mayhew. He might watch this recap. I mean, I don't know. It's certainly possible, but the recap's going to be long, so I don't know. But yeah, I hung out with Chris Mayhew the night before a little bit, but I didn't get a selfie with him, so I was like, oh, I need to get a selfie now, and so I did before I left. Um, and then so I ran into the dad who had his phone quote unquote smashed. Actually, not just that. So his phone wasn't smashed, of course, but the whole point of the trick was during Justin Willman's show was to solve the screen time issue. And what happened was at the end of that trick, here's how he solved the screen time issue. He takes the working phone, puts it into a glass jar, and the glass jar is is not even, it's not even a jar, it's a bottle. Like, and so the phone is stuck inside the bottle. And so I found just so his name's Scott, the father of the little girl that brought the phone up. And I was like, Scott, you got your phone back? And he was like, yeah. So actually what ended up happening was, um so here's Scott. After the show, a woman comes out and asks, hey, would you be interested in help getting your phone out? And so they took him backstage, waited a couple minutes. Somebody came, and this is how they got his phone out of the glass bottle. They covered it with like a towel and like hammered it, I guess, or hit it with something really hard to break it open to get the phone out. And I'm like, so wait, there's no magic way to get it out, like. And then Justin Willman came out, and they got to hang out with him and chat and talk with him for a little bit. So he, his daughter, and I think one or two of the other people that had something during the show got to chat with Justin backstage, and that was really cool. So yeah, that was funny. And there's a selfie of Justin on his phone because that's how he used it to prove that it was actually his phone. Yeah, and then I went back to my hotel. So after I said bye, after that, shook hands with some people and just made sure that I said bye. I went back to my hotel room. There's no more actual pictures of the trip, but um, upstairs, I was like, you know what? Let me check something. So I went onto YouTube. I did not log in as myself, and I just wanted to see what the hell other people searched for on YouTube. And here's the list of just random things people search for on YouTube in a hotel room. There you go. I don't. There you go. I don't even know what some of these things are, but okay. And that was the day. So after that, so there was some workshops happening on Sunday, but they both cost extra, and I needed to come home because I have work tomorrow. Assuming I don't call out sick, which my throat does feel like it's on fire considering how long I've been talking. But I couldn't stay. I did have an opportunity, thanks to Mike 2600, potentially to get into the workshops for free. But I'm like, between work and seeing my daughter, and because like she's 3, so I don't want to leave her for too many days. And also like I was tired. Like I didn't sleep well most of the days, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna turn in early on Saturday. Woke up in time for checkout on Sunday. And the only other thing was on my way back. So I actually left the hotel hungry, and I did not eat right away. I didn't even have any of my Cheerios. So I just hit the road just to start moving. And then I eventually found a Bob Evans. Now, for anybody who knows what Bob Evans is, probably nothing spectacular for you guys, but I'd never been to a Bob Evans, and so I was like, I should visit a Bob Evans. And so I'd heard so much. I see the Bob Evans sausage like in this supermarket, so I ended up getting some. So here's a couple of biscuits. These were mouth-watering buttermilk biscuits, and then I got a country fried steak with sunny side up eggs and hash browns. And I devoured this thing. Oh, so good. So good. And I was starving too by the time I got it. It was lunchtime and I hadn't had breakfast or lunch, so it was past lunchtime. E-Room says nom 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 nom. And Alstro Art says, I've never heard of Bob Evans. That's okay. No worries. Ooh, lucky. I am the king of your stream. Welcome in, and how's it going? And yeah, oh yeah, you saw tacos. That was from the taco place. Yeah, Condados. And so that was Bob Evans, and that is. After that, I was wide awake and basically drove the entire way home. Just stopped for gas, basically. And I got home. I showed my wife the bottles of wine. She was happy. She loved them. Then I was like, okay, well, these other things that I'm going to show you that you love, but they're really for me, the Harry Potter decks. And she was like, and then also the other thing that she wanted to see out of the stack, Chan the Magic Man. Thank you so much for the resub. Greatly appreciate it. Um, she also wanted to see the Lord of the Rings cards as well. So one of the other decks that I got was Lord of the Rings cards. So before I wrap up stream, I'll show off a couple more decks. So my wife wanted to see Lord of the Rings cards, which I kind of messed up on the cellophane, but it was not my fault, I swear. And then I also showed my kid a deck that I got for her, but I'm not gonna. I mean, she got to play with it a little bit, but not until I know that she can not destroy a deck. The Jungle Book cards. So this was in a bargain bin, but I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. So let me show you guys the Jungle Book cards. So here's what the backs of the Jungle Book cards look like. Here's what the faces look like. So each one has, like, I think a unique, well, not completely unique image, because like the Seven of Diamonds has the same picture as the Seven of Hearts. So all of the mates are the same picture. But yeah, these are the Jungle Book cards. And then here are the uh, Lord of the Rings cards. So here's the Fellowship of Nine. Uh, and then here's the Armies of Mordor on the other Joker. And there's the Ace. So here's what the spades typically look like. Here's some face cards. Is that Frodo, Legolas? Uh, so yeah, I don't know. This is Legolas. Who is that? Never mind. I don't know all of them. I have technically seen all the movies. I never read the books. It was not. I was not as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as most other people. Those faces are kind of ugly. Not gonna lie, says Astro Art. I mean, look, I'm not gonna disagree with you. Like, look, Orlando Bloom, pretty man. This, not as pretty. So, but yeah, that is the Lord of the Rings deck. Um, okay, I'm not gonna pull these out. Or actually, most of these aren't even open. But I'll just so we got bicycle, Vision, a Jack Daniels bargain bin deck, a Coca-Cola bargain bin deck, um, this bicycle deck. Oh, and I got some more Theory 11 ones. These are not open, so I'm not going to open them. The Avengers, Batman, and Spider-Man. So I got the superheroes right there. And then I saw a couple of Japanese anime decks that I had to get. And full disclosure, I haven't really fully seen these anime, but I got, I believe this is Attack on Titan and Naruto. There you go. So there we have it. Oh yeah, that is Attack on Titan. Yep. So yep, and that is all of the decks. All right, cool. Okay, woo. We are done with the recap, and now we can raid somebody. Wasabi111 says, super cool, thanks for sharing. You're welcome, my pleasure. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to do this today was because if I had to wait until next Sunday, oh yeah, big news, guys. I'm going to be doing my first gig next week on Sunday. So it is not just a solo gig and I'm not getting paid for it. It is a volunteer gig. So what is going on is there's going to be a local comedy show being put on for autism. And so what's going to happen is the guy who is helping to run it, he's part of the Society of American Magicians here. He put a call out to say, hey, anybody want to do a walk around for like an hour, hour and a half? And he specifically called out me and one other guy, our magician friend Brendan. And so we thought about it and we were like, hey, we should probably do it because I checked my calendar, he checked his calendar. And I thought it would be cool to also like do it as a duo magician. Maybe we can come up with like some interactive trick where we both work together or something. But anyway, so we are going to be doing a walk around magic, the two of us at cocktail hour, happy hour before the show starts. And then the show is going to start. So there's like two like professional comedians, two autistic comedians that are part of like the autistic community here, and then there's one comedy magician whom is the guy who's the president of our chapter, um, who called out. And so this is yeah. So this is what's going on next week. I I didn't want to do this next week because it would. I also wanted to talk about that next week. So I'll probably have more news about that next time. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on. All right, guys. um, Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me tonight and coming to listen to me talk about shows and lectures and like my experience at this convention. I had a great time. I had fun. Full disclosure, when I was going into it, I kind of had a weird week last week, so I'm glad that I was able to enjoy myself. Um, and then thank you guys so much for the support. I said I wasn't going to do any magic, and then you guys hype trained me into it, so I guess I had to do it. Um, and then, guys, thank you so much. If you guys are not following our friends and mods, guys, if you're not following our friend and mod GipsonLens, a.k.a. Bert, please give GipsonLens a follow. False advertisement. Oh, I guess so. I'm sorry. I apologize for doing magic on a stream when I said I wasn't gonna do magic. Um, Guys, Gibson Lens, pianist, plays relaxing music. Also working on an album. Also has been watching movies so that he can review them, so that we can guess whether he likes them or not. So definitely give Gibson Lens a follow. Guys, you're not following our friend and mod, Chan the Magic Man, one of the other few magicians on Twitch that has a regular magic schedule. Check him out, Magic Mondays. But if you like retro games, he plays retro games. If you like Rubik's Cubes, he solves all of the Rubik's Cubes. If you like uh, community games, he plays community games. Um, so definitely give Chan the Magic Man a follow. Um, all right. And I guess technically, because I did some magic, if you were concerned about this magic that you've seen here today actually being black magic or sorcery or man, what's the other one? I didn't even do magic today. Or whatever. The perfect cover story. It was sleight of hand magic. So that's it. Deals with the devil, man. See, that's how tired I am, and my voice, my throat is killing me. So, um, all right. Other than that, great seeing everybody. Let's find somebody to raid. You know what? We need to raid. There's one person we have to raid today. It should be Alchemmutation. So let's raid him before he decides to raid out. So, guys, if you would like to come along for the raid, let me see. We're going to be raiding our friend Alchemmutation, aka Craig, aka Smilecore. So let me just start the raid, Alchemmutation, and then also, if you want to copy a raid call, feel free. Thanks, Chan, for getting the raid calls there. All right, cool. So anyway, wonderful seeing everybody. Hopefully everybody has a great time. Um, and thank you for listening to my story of my trip today or this weekend. Good idea, but we all know you can't get your magic from his friend Bob. So you can't deny it. Thanks, Mark Rides. All right. Everybody have a great night. Have a glorious night. Have a glorious week. Remember to hydrate and stretch and get good sleep. All right. So, all right. Bye.